going to face, I don't think, that heavy run game from McMinnville tonight at all. I think it's going to be more, the coach has more of a balanced offense. I think it's probably going to be a little bit of a pass-heavy offense. So now we get to see a different side of the ball. We get to see how the defense reacts to some pretty decent receivers and a pretty decent quarterback.
Well, we'll see how it goes here tonight for the Roseburg Indians as we welcome you all in to our Friday night Lights Affair. It's high school football for you once again here on 1490 The Score. We'll go ahead and take our first break here in the pregame show. When we come back, we get a chance to catch up with head coach Dave Heiberger. It's our Tim's Appliance pregame coaches interview at the corner of Lane and South Stevens in Roseburg. Tim's Appliance, 0% financing, always available. We'll come back and hear from Coach Heiberger about the week that was last week and how the team is prepared for this matchup tonight against the Grizzlies. It's Roseburg football for you tonight, online at 541radio.com, and also right here on Douglas County's home for sports, CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Abby's Legendary Pizza, Travel Leaders Flyaway Travel, I-5 RV, Mahalo Heating and Air Conditioning, and Pepsi Bigfoot Beverages of Roseburg.
Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
Swimming season is finally here, but remember, respect the water. Don't swim and don't go in the water if it's under 60 degrees. Swimming in water under 60 degrees is life-threatening. It could cause hypothermia, which means your limbs paralyzed and you can't get out of the water. Each day, the water temperature of the Umpqua River will be posted on kpic.com and kval.com, and in the morning weather on KPIC. Respect the water. Know the temperature. Brought to you by the Respect the Water Safety Committee.
Back here with more of our pregame on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score and streaming with video online at 541radio.com. As we get ready for Roseburg up in McMinnville today, taking on the Grizzlies, we get a chance to catch up with head coach Dave Heiberger here in our pregame coaches interview, brought to you by Tim's Appliance at the corner of Lane and South Stevens in Roseburg. 0% financing is always available. Well, Coach, week 2 of the season now for you guys, and obviously, things didn't quite go the way that you were hoping to script them last week. But as you guys turn the page, what kind of things do you try to build off of in week 1 as you get ready here for another long road trip and another non-conference matchup?
No, we got some things on film that we were able to evaluate and check out and fix up, and so we're excited about that. And like I said, there's always stuff to fix every week. Last week it was one of those things you get on the bus and there's maybe some signs there schematically and with some of the things we did that we could have helped out our kids to be more successful. We didn't win a lot of one-on-one battles with Mountain View, and that's a credit to Mountain View, and it's a discredit to us as coaches where we got to put our kids in better spots to be successful.
As you guys got through practice this week, any points of emphasis that you were trying to work on? You mentioned one-on-one battles or schematic things. What kind of things you guys try to work on in practice this week to get ready?
Well, some of it, just simplifying some things for them so they're playing faster and not as much thinking, and so they're not as tight. And so that was a big emphasis on that, was just slowing it down and asking them, what exactly they were thinking and just kind of taking a step back and listening to what they had to say.
As you guys make a trip here, it's another non-conference game against a team that was another playoff team. These early non-conference games, how much can they really continue to help you guys build throughout this season? Obviously, you look to learn a lot. Is there still experimenting going on? Obviously, wins are crucial in football. You only get one opportunity each week, but do you get to try and play around with things a little bit to try and dial things in for when you get to the conference season?
No, we're trying to play the best football we possibly can now. Obviously, there'll be some adjustments like there is any season, whether it was a 9-team league or a 3-team league. We want to go out and compete and play good football on a Friday night.
When you got back home, I know it was late. That means the scores are probably in. Did you check out much of what went on around the rest of the state, kind of do a little look at how it happened around the Southwest Conference?
Tiny bit. Yeah, see what went on, obviously.
Did you DVR that Sheldon game on ESPN?
No, Sheldon's Sheldon. They come out and they've ran the same 5 or 6 plays for the last 20, 25 years, and they have a wrinkle or two each game. And they're going to say this. They're a good football team, and similar to Mountain View last team, good football teams. They don't care if you know what they're going to do. They're going to put a player out there, and they're going to do well. And so, obviously that's way down the road, and we'll worry about that at a later date. But
as you guys get ready here tonight, how was the week of practice after a game that had a lot that didn't quite go your guys' way, a long bus ride home to think about it? Did you guys turn the page pretty quick and get back into football mode and learning mode and getting ready for week 2 of the season pretty quickly for you?
Yeah, that's what I love about our Roseburg kids. They're resilient. They come back out, and they're coachable kids. And, some of that was letting those guys know that, hey, as a coaching staff, we could have done better. And we don't hang it on our kids when we lose. We hang it on ourselves. And that's not coach speak, because it was probably pretty obvious last week that it needed to be hung on us. So, challenged our coaches to get better, challenged myself to get better. We challenged everybody within the program. Let's get better.
All right, we look forward to it tonight as the Roseburg Indians get ready to take on the McMinnville Grizzlies. Week 2 of the season. I want to say thanks to head coach Dave Heiberger for his time here in the pregame show. That's your Tim's Appliance pregame coaches interview. Back with more after this here on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
And we welcome you back here as we get ready for kickoff, our final segment of the pregame show. Coming up, we will have kickoff. Your starting lineups right around the corner. Those are brought to you by Supercuts in the Steelhead Run Plaza across from Starbucks on Garden Valley Boulevard. Save time and check out styles online at supercuts.com. Quick check of the injury report. We did report last week that Jay Stoffel was on the sideline, his arm in a sling. After talks with the athletic trainer, Julie Devers, I've learned that anytime your arm's in a sling, that's not a good sign. So, unfortunately, not a good sign for him. Out this week. We're not sure how long it's going to be, but out this week, Jay Stoffel. Also found out just before we got done there with the interview with Coach Heiberger that Thomas Ruth out tonight. He is sick, so they're going to have a little bit of change along the offensive line and the defensive line for the Roseburg Indians. Thomas Ruth, a big part of that at 6 foot, 235 pounds, an honorable mention all-conference offensive lineman last year, one of their most experienced offensive linemen. He will be missed tonight for the Roseburg Indians. But looking at it tonight, Josh, some keys to tonight's game for this Roseburg Indian club as they look to try and get that first win of the season.
Yeah, right now what I see is Roseburg, number one, has to limit the turnovers right now. They are going up against a very good, very potent offense. Last week, McMinnville did a great job. I believe their quarterback had 5 touchdowns last week.
Last week, McMinnville's quarterback,
Or
he had
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns as well as a rushing touchdown. He had the 3 touchdowns passing last week. That's right.
He had 3 touchdowns, so they need to limit the turnovers. They also need to force that quarterback to move around out of the pocket. I was watching him warm up today, and he's more of that pocket quarterback. He doesn't want to move. You can see that he doesn't want to move. He wants to stay in that pocket. I think he probably can move around quite well, but try to force him to move around, make him force his throws tonight.
Last year, he only ran for 180 yards and 4 touchdowns, so not a guy that was asked to run a whole lot.
No, and you could see it tonight just as he was warming up. And then the number 3 thing that I think Roseburg needs to do is they need to control the time of possession tonight. The offense needs the ball more tonight, and the defense needs to sit out. Roseburg's defense needs a breather, and they need as much of a breather as they possibly can to go up against this pass-heavy offense.
All right, some keys to tonight's game as we get ready to go. The captains are heading out on the field for the coin toss. We'll have the results of that for you as we get in our final break. This has been the pregame show. Kickoff is coming up next. We'll have the starting lineups for you when we return. You are following Roseburg football online at 541radio.com and on the radio on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
We welcome you to McMinnville High School as we get ready for Roseburg football tonight here on 1490 The Score and streaming online at 541radio.com. Joey Kieran, Josh Nelson with you. Big thanks to Joe Glover for helping here with the on-site production. Back in the studio, Chance Terrell working things on the radio side. We get ready for kickoff. It's time now for our Supercuts starting lineups. Roseburg Indians will receive to start the game. McMinnville winning the toss, deferring to the second half. The Indians will take the football, moving left to right on your radio dial. At quarterback, it's the senior Colin Warm at 6'3", 175 pounds. Running back, you'll see Doran Gillespie and Gage Hill getting time back there. And the wide receiver positions, Eddie Herskovitz, Cole Bear, Merhowie Lake, D'Angelo Adams, Austin Parker, who is the tight end. You'll see all of those guys out there. Along the front line, no Thomas Ruth tonight. We mentioned that. C.J. Gale, Riley Culberhouse, Hunter Blix, Mason LeBon. Also getting time. Colton Jordan, I think, is helping fill out along that front line for the Roseburg Indians here tonight. That is a look at it as they get ready to return. Roseburg, they'll have a man deep to return. A couple of guys back there. It looks like Bear and Merhowie Lake deep to return for the Roseburg Indians. Again, moving left to right, wearing their road white jerseys tonight. Numbers in black on their back, outlined in thin orange. On the other side, black jerseys, red numbers on the back, outlined in white for McMinnville. Their front line has a all-conference selection from last year. Max Wolf, a senior, 6'2", 260, anchoring the defensive line for them. He was actually an honorable mention selection last year on the offensive line. They did have honorable mention all-conference selection Grayson Elmer, who is a linebacker last year, now along the front line. Ross Felix, Jet Hawkins, Sam Weigel. At linebackers, Noah Kepler, Derek Fox, and we'll have the rest of your defensive front or defensive alignment for this McMinnville team here in a moment. The kick is away. It'll angle towards the far side of the field. It's taken by Cole Bear, and he caught it on a knee. and they'll say he's down inside the 10-yard line. Roseburg will be backed up into their own end of the field. Tough one there. Rounding out your Supercut starting lineup for the defense from McMinnville. Honorable second team all-conference selection, Colton Smith at the defensive back. Honorable mention all-conference, Kevin Sullivan, Tanner Farley, and Ian Wilson. But a tough spot here for Roseburg to start out the first quarter.
Yes, exactly. This is not how Roseburg wanted to start off the game inside their own 10.
So they will start out with the football. They've got it marked. Tough to read the yard markers here. I think it's about the 8-yard line where Roseburg will start on their own half of the field. Warmoth in shotgun, in a bit of sun. Shadows starting to come across the field. He'll pass it out to the far side of the field. It's D'Angelo Adams with the catch, but in the backfield he is backed up. And that one going back down inside towards the 5-yard line, it looks like, where they'll take him down, and that'll be a loss of yard on first down for Roseburg.
And it looked like McMinnville was playing the pass the entire time. They did not rush anybody except for their defensive line, and they just held back and waited for that pass.
So Roseburg will have second down. They only lose about a yard, so not back to the 5. They'll put them back to the 7. A run up the middle for Roseburg this time. And it's Doran Gillespie on the carry. He gets back to about the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a little extra out to the 10. And so a pickup of about 3 on the ground for Doran Gillespie, and it's going to be 3rd down and 9. They'll set up Gillespie to the left of Warmoth in shotgun. 2 receivers to his right and left. Ball on the right hash mark for the Indians offense. And whistles will blow. And a timeout down on the field for the McMinnville Grizzlies. So they will burn a timeout here early on, but Roseburg so far not a lot of offensive movement for them here in this possession.
No, not a lot of movement right now. It looks like they're a little bit concerned about this no huddle. The Grizzlies don't seem to understand exactly what's going on there. That may play in Roseburg's favor tonight.
So the first time out of our ball game here. McMinnville will have 2 left here in the first half. Fun thing here, setting up all the cords and whatnot for tonight's broadcast, and I somehow found a way to wrap the neck strap for my binoculars inside one of the other cords, and if I unplug it, we'll have no audio for the video feed. So there we go, a little bit of fun for tonight's broadcast, the joys of going on the road. We'll work on getting things figured out here momentarily as the game will come back from timeout. Roseburg will have themselves 3rd down and about 9 to try and pick up. Warmoth in shotgun. Gage Hill into the game, I believe. No, that is Gillespie to the right of the quarterback. Sets up in shotgun. They're looking to take their time here. Looking to pass. Couple of options. Through the middle. That one picked off for McMinnville. And taken down inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. Second interception of the season for Colin Warmoth. He tried to fit that one in an impossible window.
Yeah, he tried to put that right in between 2 defenders right there. The receiver was completely double-teamed on that play. He tried to fit it in. There was no room for that ball. That should never have been thrown.
So it's down to the 16-yard line on the interception for McMinnville. I think I was told 53 for the number. And there is a player down for McMinnville. And that's the player down on the ground for the Grizzlies is Isaac Alexander, the injured player. I was trying to figure out who made the interception on that one, but I didn't catch the numbers there. But Warmoth throws an interception on 3rd down and long. The injured player, Alexander, is up and walking gingerly to the sideline. So Roseburg's defense will come out, trapped with themselves back in their own side of the field. Out to lead the offense for McMinnville. It'll be their quarterback, Sam DePuy, and I forgot to check on his pronunciation.
And this is what Roseburg did not want to have happen coming out of the gate right now, to go 3 and out, 4 and out, and to turn the ball over within their own 20 right there does not bode well for Roseburg.
So they'll get the ball. McMinnville gets the ball at the Roseburg 16-yard line. 3 plays and a turnover for Roseburg. They had just 1 last week, and McMinnville's offense will come out. They go with an I formation. fake the handoff, rolling out to his left. The quarterback looking to the end zone, finds the short route, turn to the front pylon, and just shy of the goal line. Catch made. And there is a flag on the play. The reception goes to Colton Smith, the honorable mention All-State selection last year. And the penalty goes against the Grizzlies to negate the play that took it down to the 1-yard line.
It was a play-action pass by the quarterback for the Grizzlies, and what happened is one of their linemen, ineligible receiver downfield, had gone downfield before he threw that ball.
So it's a 5-yard penalty back to the 21. Let's see here. Yeah, they'll put it back at the 21-yard line. So 5-yard loss. It'll be first down and 15 now for the Grizzlies. I formation again. The deep back is Noah Kepler, and they will hand it off up the middle on the run. Goes inside the 20 down to about the 19. Kepler on the carry. That'll make it second down and long now for the Grizzlies. Roseburg's defense looking to try and come out with a big stand here early on.
And that was a big stand right there on that run, just with how much Roseburg was ran over last week on that defensive line. The defensive line today was able to get right through that offensive line.
Roseburg's front line here for tonight. Taking a look at your Supercut starting lineup. Clayton Brillage up there along the front, along with Caden Gingrey, Hunter Blix, and Hunter Hilliard will get up there as well. As a handoff running left side. That was Colton Smith on the carry, taken down. And the tackle, it looks like Zach Mandera in on the tackle. Also in there helping out is going to be Hunter Blix for the Roseburg defense.
Yeah, Hunter Blix came all the way around. He grabbed a hold of him, held him up, just so Mandera could make the hit to actually bring him down.
So they move the ball back as Blix will check out. That ball back to the 20-yard line, a loss of 1 on the run for Smith. And it makes it, after that penalty, it really helped out the Indians. It'll make it third down and long here. From the 20, they've got to get it inside the 10 for the first down. Looking to pass. DePoy out to the far side, had a man open inside the 5-yard line, it looks like. Taken out of bounds, it'll be a first down. Catch made on the far side. That is Parker Spence that'll move the chains to set up first down and goal.
So that front line, that defensive line, and the linebackers for Roseburg did a great job on that, getting pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback did take a little bit of a lick from Mandera. Didn't get him on the ground, but Mandera said, "I'm coming for you."
15-yard pickup through the air. Spence with the catch. They'll set up an I formation here, a chance to try and punch it in and take an early lead. 3 backs in the backfield, move one hand in motion, run left side. Kepler bounces off of one tackler, but there are 5 Roseburg jerseys there to meet him at the line of scrimmage. Blix in there again to lead things off, and also for Roseburg, getting in to help make the tackle, Bryson Diaz.
Very impressive so far what I'm seeing from the defensive line, completely opposite of what we saw last week, and they're being able to get through there. They're covering up the gaps and not allowing the running back to get any lanes.
No gain on the play. Second down and goal from the 5 for McMinnville. Ball in the middle of the field. They'll set up in a pistol formation with 2 backs along, back in the backfield. They'll go the fade route to the corner, and it's too long. Incomplete. And intended for Colton Smith on the far corner. He's talking with the official, looking for some sort of call. I don't know what he's asking for there.
It looks like a pass interference call for me. Roseburg's defender was sitting there grabbing his jersey and holding him back as he was running towards the ball.
Ball was a little far and out of bounds, so no whistle, no flag on the play, and we will resume. Roseburg doing good on the early downs. They need a third down stop here, see if they can hold McMinnville to a possible field goal. The place kicker is Parker Spence. They'll set up. DePoy in backfield with Kepler to his left. They look like a possible passing down here. He drops back, pressure coming, flushes him out of the pocket, running, pulls back to throw to the end zone. Is the ball knocked away, intercepted? It's taken by Roseburg, and they will keep it in the end zone. And the Roseburg player won't go down. Finally, he does. Taken away in the end zone for Roseburg. That is Colin Reitman with the interception, and the Indians will get the turnover in the end zone to keep McMinnville from scoring.
And that's exactly what Roseburg needed right there. They needed some confidence, get that turnover. They're actually going to start with better field position right now than they did on the opening drive.
So Dupuy, the quarterback, throws a pick in the end zone for a second straight week. It was Reitman with the INT, his first takeaway of the season, and Roseburg will have the football. They'll march it out to their own 20-yard line with 7:50 to go in the first quarter, still scoreless. And Roseburg, again, started at their own 8-yard line last time out. They do get better starting position here. 7:50 to go. Warmoth back out there at quarterback in shotgun. He's going to keep it on the option. He'll make one man. He tries to get through an arm tackle. Does not quite break all the way through, but he carries the tackler for a couple more yards. Kepler bringing him down. But for Roseburg, it's positive yardage on first down. Take him out to the 28-yard line on the carry there for Warmoth. That's a pickup of 8 on the run. In shotgun, he's got two backs on either side of him in the backfield. Warmoth and, Mandera. Let's get the name right here. It was Gillespie running left side on the carry, and he'll move the chains. It was Gillespie and I think Gage Hill in the backfield with Warmoth. As Gillespie, his first carry of the night, takes him across the 30 out to the 33-yard line, 32-yard line, a pickup of 4 and moving the chains. That's the second carry of the night for Gillespie. 2 men in the backfield again, Gillespie one of them, and Hill the other. Give the handoff to Gillespie. He's met in the backfield. He's spun forward, might get a little bit of positive yardage, but bringing him down, it's Max Wolf, the defensive lineman, making the tackle on first down.
And that's one of the few times right there that one of the Grizzlies defenders actually has gotten in the backfield. The Grizzlies have been playing it pretty cautious right now and staying back.
Out to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 2 for Gillespie. He sets up to the right of Warmoth, Hill to his left. Adams spread out along with Bear to the right of the formation. Handed off up the middle. It's Gillespie breaking free into the secondary across the 45 and taken down just before he gets to the 50, out to about the 47-yard line for Doran Gillespie, a pickup of about 12 on the carry, it looks like.
And if Gillespie right there would have just been able to step just a little bit higher, he may have been gone to the end zone because there really wasn't anybody there to help tackle him after that.
First quarter, 6:06 to go. Roseburg nearing midfield, looking to get into McMinnville territory for the first time tonight. Offense moving nicely here on their second possession of the game. Ball on the left hash mark. Give the handoff to Gillespie. Tries to spin out of the first tackler and will not escape. Back to the line of scrimmage, it looks like, for Doran Gillespie. It looks like Weigel and Resendez in on the tackle for McMinnville. It'll be 2nd and 10, no gain on the first down carry for Gillespie. Stays at the 47-yard line, Roseburg's half of the field. Gillespie in shotgun with two backs there with him. He's got Gillespie to his right, and Hill is about 3 yards behind him in shotgun. They'll snap it, give it to Hill. He gets a head of steam running into the line. He was able to bounce off one man, tackled from behind, but he gets to the 50-yard line and just across, almost to the 45 on the other half. And Roseburg will have third down, and they're up to the line quickly. 46-yard line. It's a pickup of 7 on the ground for Hill. They'll go quickly. Fumble on the snap. Warmoth picks it up, tries to make something out of nothing. He'll lose yardage back to close to the 50-yard line.
And right there, it was just a bad snap, and Warmoth just took his eyes off the ball, or he would have been able to grab that ball.
They knock him back to the 48-yard line, a loss of 2.
It looks like Roseburg's going to punt.
And they will bring out Colin Warmoth, the now punter. I believe it was going to be Jay Stoffel. We mentioned earlier that he is out with an injury. I believe Stoffel was going to be the punter this season. Warmoth will take over. He gets underneath this one a bit much, angles it to the sideline, and it takes a McMinnville bounce towards the sideline, and it will set up at the 37-yard line for McMinnville. Not a bad offensive possession for Roseburg. It just stalls after they try to pick up the pace.
Yeah, right there, they're just running the ball, even on a third down. I'm kind of concerned about running the ball on a third down. The safety for the Grizzlies is actually playing in, so at some point, that deep pass should open up tonight.
McMinnville will come out for their second offensive possession. 4:11 to go in the first quarter. 0-0 ball game so far here from McMinnville High School. Grizzlies moving right to left on your radio dial. Wind blowing around a little bit on a cool evening here up north. DePuis dropping back to throw, going right side, looking downfield. There was some contact, no flags intended for Colton Smith. Incomplete, well downfield.
And that was a good no call right there by the referee. There was a little bit of bumping by both players, but there was no grabbing or pulling as the ball was getting there.
It'll be second down and 10. The ball on the left hash mark, 37-yard line after the pump by Roseburg. They'll move men in motion. To the right side of the formation goes Smith. As they go tight, they'll pitch it to the right side. It's Kirby Hartzell trying to get free, but he is trapped in the backfield. Coming up, it's Diaz coming up to make the tackle in the backfield again. Had some teammates there with him as they trap Hartzell in the backfield.
Now, there is a flag on the play on this one, and I don't know if it'll be against Roseburg for jumping. No.
They do call an illegal shift against McMinnville. We'll see if it's, they think they're going to accept the penalty.
Illegal shift penalty is declined.
Oh, no, it is declined. I was going to say they did not move that ball far enough, it seemed like. So here in the first quarter with 3:58 to go, the clock should keep running, I would think. Even with the penalty stop, they should wind the clock here and maybe getting ready to do so. It backs it up. It'll make it third down and 15 to go now for McMinnville. The ball sitting at their own 32-yard line. Loss of 5 on that play for Hartzell. Now looking to pass. DePuis in the backfield. He's trapped. He's taken down for a huge loss on a sack, and Roseburg's defense coming up big.
And Roseburg's defense is doing exactly what I said. They've got to get that quarterback out of the pocket. He doesn't look comfortable when he's on the run. He didn't look comfortable there. He had nowhere to go, and they were able to get that sack.
DePuis gets trapped in the backfield trying to roll to his right, and it makes it now fourth down and extremely long, and the punt unit will come out for the first time tonight for McMinnville. That one backs them all the way back to their own 15. That is a loss of 17 yards for DePuis. The kick is away, and the punter, DePuis, he gets a boot on that one. Bear will take it at the 40s. He had to back up. He slapped through one tackler and picks up about 2 yards. And the punt will be down in Roseburg territory, but the defense coming out looking real sharp tonight so far.
So far, it's a tale of 2 different ball games right there. Last week, defense didn't look very good at all, and so far, defense has looked amazing tonight.
We'll see if the offense can pick up where they left off with some good momentum going. The ball will be at their own 43-yard line. It is a scoreless ball game with 3:03 to go in the first quarter. Tonight's action brought to you by Cascade Community Credit Union, belong to Douglas County. Warmouth will set up in shotgun. 2 backs in the backfield with him. 2 targets to his right side, the wide side of the field. He'll turn and hand it off to Gillespie. They try to run right through the middle, and there's nothing there on first down.
Yeah, right now, Grizzlies are playing that run pretty well, and that safety is playing in. I'd like to see a pass over the middle, maybe a little bit deep.
Ball goes back to the 42, a loss of 1 for Gillespie. They'll set up second down and 11 now. Left hash mark at their own 42. Gillespie leading the way for Hill. They'll go to pass on the play action going downfield. Adams reaching for it. Ball is bobbled up and dropped. The ball just underthrown to D'Angelo Adams downfield, and if the ball could have gotten down there, he was beyond the defense. Tried to do his best to reach back and grab it and almost had it, but just a little short.
And right now, all Roseburg has against the receivers is man-to-man coverage. The Grizzlies just manning up on them. They're not playing zone or anything, so as long as they man up, D'Angelo Adams should be open deep most of the night.
They'll set up on 3rd and 11 here. Another passing down for Roseburg, and whistles will blow before the play comes off. It might be a timeout. It is a timeout for the Grizzlies. They burned their second timeout of the first half. We'll go ahead and take a quick 30-second break and come back with more of the first quarter. Scoreless with 2:22 to go. You're listening to Roseburg Football on 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
Come back out of the timeout. Roseburg football tonight is brought to you by DC Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop. It's going to be third down and long for Roseburg after an incompletion downfield, bobbled in and out of the hands. The defense getting a hand in there on the pass to D'Angelo Adams. He just couldn't quite bring it in. Now the Indians will look to try and convert 11 yards needed. They've got to get to the McMinnville 47 for the first down. Warmoth in shotgun, one back to his left, two targets either side. Looking to pass, pressure coming. He'll rush out of the pocket, gets out of two tackles. He's going to take off running, tries to use a third stiff arm. He does get out, and a penalty flag. Two of them come out. Now the question will be, is it a face mask on the offense with the stiff arm, or did they see something else on McMinnville's defense?
It's right there with Warmoth's stiff arm. I'm thinking it's probably face mask. The referee threw the flag too.
We'll see what we get on the call here on the third down attempt. They got about to the 50, well, just shy of the 50. It is a personal foul face mask on the defense, and that's going to help out the Indians. Wow. And so Roseburg will get an automatic first down on the second penalty of the game by McMinnville.
And that was really good by Warmoth. Keep his feet going. He was not going down without a fight, and he showed it right there.
They move the ball from the 42 on Roseburg's half of the field out into McMinnville territory, and the ball will rest at the 37-yard line, McMinnville's half of the field. So the Indians will be back in Grizzly territory. First down and 10. Ball on the right hash mark. Two targets to the left side for Warmoth in shotgun. Two backs with him. He'll turn and hand it off. It's Gillespie running left side over the tackle. Dives forward as he's tripped up by his shoelaces and will dive out close to the 30-yard line.
And right now that was a pickup of 4 or 5 yards from Gillespie, and I'd take that any day of the week right there. Good job.
We'll put it down as a 4-yard pickup for Gillespie, up to 25 yards on the night for him here in the first quarter. Under 2 minutes to play, scoreless ball game. Ball in the middle of the field, moving to the left side of the formation. Adams into the slot position. Bear all alone to the right side. Warmoth in shotgun. It's been heavy run so far for the Indians in this one, and they'll do it again. Gillespie gets the call, running left side, gets free into the secondary, down the sideline at the 10, and he's knocked out of bounds. It'll be first and goal for Roseburg from the 9. And they will move the chains. Roseburg, their first scoring opportunity, down to the 9-yard line for Gillespie. Make that a pickup of 24 yards on the ground.
And it looks like it was Tanner Farley that was the one that stopped him. If he didn't stop him, it probably would have been a touchdown.
They'll set up first and goal. Ball on the left hash mark. 1:27 to go first quarter. Roseburg looking for their first lead of the season. Defense playing up near the line. They'll hand it off. Gillespie running right side. Met in the backfield. Slips through one tackle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Not much more there for Dorian Gillespie, trying to go to the other side of the formation and cut down at the line of scrimmage.
Right now, I think you need to do a play-action pass, maybe right over to the corner of either side of the end zone.
So far for Warmoth in this game, he is 1 for 3. He's got one interception. The one completion went for negative yardage. Clock ticking, under a minute to go first quarter. Scoreless ball game. Roseburg looking to try and eat up the clock, keep the ball out of the hands of the offense for McMinnville, which is very high scoring. And timeout is called.
Timeout.
And it is a Roseburg timeout. We'll go ahead and take a quick 30-second break, come back with the conclusion of the first quarter. You are listening to Roseburg football on 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
.44 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's a scoreless ball game. Both teams have used some timeouts here in the first quarter. Roseburg will have 2 remaining, only 1 left in the first half for McMinnville. Roseburg second down and goal from their 9. We haven't seen a lot of pass, but this might be a chance, like you said, maybe a play action out of this timeout.
Yeah, and I think right now what the coach was doing is seeing how McMinnville was lining up to determine on what he was going to call.
We've had 2 interceptions for both quarterbacks and a couple of punts so far, but Roseburg best scoring chance so far for them. McMinnville had one earlier but threw an interception in the end zone. Warmouth in shotgun, 2 backs behind him. Looking to throw, going left side is a quick in route. Herskovitz with the catch at the 5. They'll give him his forward progression as he was knocked back to the 6, but he'll get down to the 5-yard line to pick up a 4, and it will be third down and goal from the 5.
And just those quick dink-dunk passes like that are going to move the ball, it looks like, against this McMinnville team.
Adams and Baird to the right side of the formation. Herskovitz out to the left. You've got Mandera and Gillespie in the backfield. Mandera, obviously a big bruising type of runner. He doesn't get a lot of offensive opportunities as a defensive star, but he's coming out there right now. He'll set up to the left of Warmouth. They'll give it to Gillespie, looking for some blockers, gets inside the 5, and he's pushed back. Forward momentum will get him inside the 5, but not much more. And it'll be fourth down and goal for Roseburg.
Right now, the question is whether or not you kick the ball or you go for it on fourth down while you're on the road at a hostile environment. I was watching Mahawi Lake kick the ball earlier, and I don't know if I would trust his leg.
Well, he was a pretty good kicker last year. Hit one from 30 yards out last year. Hit a couple from that distance. We'll see what they do when we come back. The end of the first quarter, Roseburg and McMinnville all knotted at zeros. It'll be fourth down and goal for Roseburg when we return after this 60-second break. You're watching Roseburg football on 541radio.com and listening on 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
For Roseburg.
It looks like they'll set up to go for it on fourth and goal. They bring out some extra receivers. Mandera in the backfield to help block for Warmouth as they're going for it. Roseburg looking to try and score first in this ball game. Flags come out. Warmouth running to his right. Thought he was going to try and take it himself. He'll throw to the end zone. The ball knocked away. We'll wait to see what the penalty flag is here early in the second quarter on fourth and goal for Roseburg. Scoreless ball game here from McMinnville High School. Joey Kieran, Josh Nelson with you tonight as we bring you high school football here on The Score. And it's a false start against, a procedural penalty, and it is declined. So it'll be an incomplete pass for Roseburg on fourth down, a turnover on downs for the Indians, and they'll give the ball back to McMinnville deep in McMinnville territory.
And I'm not sure if everybody in the receiving corps was on the same page before that play, because Mahawi Lake did come out to kick the ball and then ended up being a receiver.
So they mixed some things around. Gillespie wasn't out on the field. He came out right at the last minute. They'll set up with the ball on the McMinnville 4-yard line. First and 10 for the Grizzlies. First possession of the second quarter for them. It's a scoreless ball game. Both teams looking to try and get something started here in the second quarter. First down play. going right side over the formation.
Right side for a gain.
And it's the running back, Noah Kepler, with the carry. Not much there for him on first down. It'll be about 8 yards to go on second down.
And Kepler did find a big hole that he was going to run through. He just tripped himself up on his own feet.
They get the ball out to the 6. It's a pickup of 2 for Kepler. His third carry of the night, only 4 yards. Deep in their own side of the field for the Grizzlies. Dupuis, the quarterback, sets up with Kepler to his left, looking to throw that direction. Out into the flats, the man wide open. It'll be a first down. The catch made by Spence out on the far side stays inbound. The clock will run as he gets to the 20.
And right now, Roseburg's shown that they've done a good job defending the pass, defending the run tonight. But those short out routes that the Grizzlies just ran right there may be the key for the Grizzlies.
Roseburg looking to overcome, giving up 46 points last week. So far, they have held McMinnville scoreless through a quarter. Here in the second quarter, 10:52 to go, still scoreless. Roseburg with a 3-man front. Linebackers up on the edges. Under center, Dupuis hands it off, going left side. A lot of men out there, black jerseys pushing forward, and Kepler on the carry. He'll pick up about 5 on first down.
He did pick up about 5, but Roseburg did a great job at getting penetration. There was a lot of guys in the backfield.
Out to about the 26, so we'll make it officially 6 yards on the carry for Kepler. Gets him to double digits on his yardage. Second quarter here, clock continues to run. Both teams looking to find the end zone before the half. Under center, Dupuis, I formation behind him. Double tight end, he turns and hands it off. Kepler running left side, and he is met immediately, busting through the line up front for Roseburg. That is Clayton Brelage up front and busting through and coming off the edge. Bryson Diaz helping to make the stop.
It was a very good job. Roseburg's doing a good job at getting in those gaps, getting through that line, and getting as much pressure on those running back and quarterback and trying to force McMinnville to throw the ball.
Pickup of just 1 for Kepler on the run. It'll be third down and about 3 to go. Dupuis looking to pass, goes far side. It's caught. Now looking to make a man miss, and upfield, Colton Smith. He gets downfield to move the chains. The drive will continue for the Grizzlies.
And again, that was another one of those short out routes. Roseburg's corners are playing off about 5 yards, and those short out routes are going to be open for the Grizzlies unless the corners come up and play bump and run coverage.
That catch was made by Smith, a 12-yard reception for him. First catch of the night for Smith. They'll set up I formation, move a man in motion. Spence will go from right to left across the formation, and they turn and hand it off, trying to bump it out the far side. Following blockers, Met coming up to help make the tackle, Ethan Stoner for Roseburg. And the first down carry picks up good yardage to make it second down and about 6.
That was just a little sweep route there, but Ethan Stoner did a great job getting off his block and being able to get that stop.
They put the ball out to the 43-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 4 for Kepler. Second down and 6. 8:24 to go, still scoreless, nearing midfield for the Grizzlies. Tight formation, a lot of guys out there, and the Indians blow it up. Getting into the backfield, Bryson Diaz having a huge night tonight with another tackle. He just went right through all the blockers in front of him. No one really got a hand on him, and he was easily right to the running back.
The coach said they saw a lot of film. They made a lot of adjustments this week, and so far these adjustments are night and day compared to what we saw last week.
Loss of yards on the carry, back to the 42, 1-yard loss for Kepler. It'll be third down and a long 6 to go for the Grizzlies. They'll set up with Dupuis in the backfield, and they get the defense to jump. Penalty flags out. This looks like it'll be the first one against Roseburg that will likely go into the books. Roseburg had one earlier, but it was declined.
Yeah, Roseburg's doing a great job so far this year altogether with penalties, and it's early, but only one penalty so far in this game. It's been really good. And
we're
it's not
wrong.
even against Roseburg. It's against McMinnville for a false start.
McMinnville jumping as they tried to draw the defense offside, and that'll back them up even further on third down. So McMinnville, they have not come out and looked all that sharp after a big win last week against Milwaukee where they won 41-7. They've been a little sketchy here to start this one out.
Yeah, very evenly matched from what I'm seeing right now.
Ball gets moved back 11 yards to gain for the first down. They'll put the ball at the 38-yard line. 3rd and 11 for McMinnville. Dropping back to pass. Dupuis. Pressure comes. He gets through one tackle. Another one. Tries to escape out of more, and he will not. He does a good job to make something happen, but he had a long way to go, and that scramble was not going to do it.
No, not at all. They did a great job at wrapping him up, making him go one direction. There was 3 or 4 Roseburg players that came in to make a hit, and they missed, but they did a great job at coming back, wrapping him up, and bringing him down.
He actually ended up losing yardage. I thought he had gotten back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose 2 yards on the carry. And Dupuis will be back to punt it away on 4th down and 13. And it's a terrible kick to the sideline and out of bounds. And the Roseburg Indians will have great field position. They have not been able to capitalize on it earlier on, but now they'll start a drive here in a great spot.
Yeah, and right now, as long as Roseburg's defense continues to hold, whether or not Roseburg scores right away or they take this first half and get down the field and it's back and forth with no score, this really helps going into the second half for the defense. Defense is playing lights out. I'd like to see this offense get a little bit more spark, help that defense even more.
Roseburg will start at the McMinnville 45-yard line. They've had some decent field position starting, and this is good once again. Second quarter, 6:58 to go. 0-0 ball game. Roseburg last time turned it over on downs inside the 5-yard line. First play, handoff to Gillespie, left side. He's trapped in the backfield for a loss of yardage.
So the last couple of plays, the defense for McMinnville is actually sending their linebackers, and they are taking away all the gaps that Roseburg has because that's all Roseburg's done is run the ball pretty much. They're not scared of the pass right now.
Up to 11 carries on the night for Gillespie. Had 13 last week for 89 yards and a touchdown, a 61-yard touchdown run. The Indians will set up. 2nd down and 12 to go here. The ball back at the 47. Warmouth in shotgun, 2 backs with him. Hands it off to Gillespie again. And they may be going to the well one too many times here.
Yeah, right now they need to balance out a little bit. They're very run heavy right now, and McMinnville is easily picking up on that.
So it's been a loss of 5 on the first 2 plays. And it'll be 3rd down and 15 for Roseburg. Ball on the 50-yard line, left hash mark. They all check the wristbands. And D'Angelo Adams will move to the left side with Hershkovitz in the slot. 1 man spread out wide to the right side of the field. 2 backs in the backfield with Warmouth. And whistles will blow. It's a delay of game for Roseburg.
And that right there, that's on the coach right there because the coach knows how much time's being on the clock. He has timeouts right now. He should have taken a timeout to save that penalty.
5:33 to go in the second quarter. 0-0 game so far in the first half. Now Indians facing 3rd down and 20. Have to get it inside the 35. And McMinnville's half, they go with the screen. Adams with it. He makes a couple of men miss. Needs a couple of blockers to help him out. Will not get it. He got to the 50, picked up about 5 yards. Make it 6, and that's all it's going to get.
And it was a very good. Adams' feet are moving faster than I can blink. He's going pretty quick. He just needed to turn up the field just a little bit sooner.
So it's a 6-yard completion to Adams. And now Warmouth will set up to punt this one away. After a good field position spot for Roseburg, they can't capitalize. Penalty flags out before the play. And we'll see what this one's about now. It's been a few more penalty flags this week than we saw last week. And it's on the defense. It's offsides on the defensive line. It'll be 5 yards, not enough to move the chains for Roseburg, but does give them a little bit of a better edge. They'll move the ball up to that'll be the 44-yard line. So Roseburg's now facing 4th and 9. The ball back to Warmouth. He kicks it away. Nice spiral kick towards the sideline. Takes a nice bounce. Needs to die, and it's into the end zone for a touchback. Almost got it placed there inside the coffin corner.
Yes, very, very well kicked ball right there. He just needed to take just a hair off of it, so it would have died right there in the corner, and it didn't.
4:35 to go in this first half. It'll be 1st down and 10 for McMinnville from their own 20. First half actions brought to you by Good Vibration Solutions for home theater and automotive audio. You can feel it at Good Vibes. Also want to thank Mahalo Heating and Cooling, your best choice for the finest indoor comfort control. Call them today at 672-6707. Back out with the offense, Sam Dupuis will lead things out. McMinnville's offense has not had a lot of success so far. Looking to pass on the play action. Sidearm throw downfield. Did he catch it? The official will say no. Just trying to pull it up off the turf. Trying to plead his case on that one. Colton Smith is not going to get the call. That is the 4th incompletion of the night for Dupuis. He is 3 of 7 through the air. Last week had the 3 touchdown passes and 1 interception. 3 touchdowns of 21 and 30 yards last week. Last year he was almost a 59% passer, had for over almost 1,700 yards through the air for this Grizzlies squad. Tonight he has had some issues. Roseburg's defensive front has been putting on a lot of pressure. He'll go under center, I formation behind him. He moves Smith in motion, right to left. Pitch it to the left side. Caught in the backfield, Kepler. He is swallowed up, and Roseburg coming up. It's Clayton Brillage to make the tackle for the Indians, and that defensive front just continues to wreak havoc in the backfield.
That defensive line is playing very, very physical tonight. Last week they played somewhat timid, and it's almost like last week's game kind of knocked them in the face, woke them up, and now Roseburg's out there to play very physical football.
4 minutes to go here in the first half. 0-0 ball game. 3-man front for the Indians. They have been wreaking havoc. In shotgun is Dupuis. He's got Kepler to his right, looking to roll that direction. Pressure, he'll tuck it, starting to run. A flag is out on the run and hit at the sideline. Mandera on his back and coming up to lay a hit. Colin Reitman knocking him out of bounds and knocking him out on the run. It could be good for a first down, but there is a penalty flag out.
And the penalty is against McMinnville.
And that is one that Roseburg will take, with that being a first down scramble for Dupuis, who has his helmet off. Must have gotten knocked out as he was knocked off his head as he was going out of bounds. The Indians will take the penalty as it will back it up and make it 3rd down and long for McMinnville and negating a first down scramble.
And it looks like he's holding his arm or something right now. He's kind of back and forth, grabbing that arm.
Isaac Alexander, a senior, is the backup quarterback as far as I am aware for McMinnville. The penalty backs him way back because they go from the spot of the foul. The ball is back inside the 10, just shy of the 8-yard line. So that is a huge penalty, taking them back 13 yards and deep inside their own territory now. So they've got 3rd down and 23 to try and go here. Dropping back into the end zone to pass back to the far side of the field. And Bear is there to make the tackle and stop him short of the original first down line, or the original line of scrimmage on 1st and 10. It'll be inside the 20, and it's another punt coming up for McMinnville.
And luckily Bear was there because there was nobody behind Bear. Could have easily been a long touchdown pass if Bear was not there to wrap up on that tackle.
It was an 11-yard pickup through the air. That one going to Spence, his 3rd catch of the night. Punt now for Dupuis. Ooh, a guy got in there, almost had a chance to block it. Deep to return. It goes through the hands. It's Barry. Backs up a few steps. Now we'll go back towards the 50. He was in McMinnville territory before losing a handle on that football. His scramble to get it and try and make some sort of positive gets him just shy of the 50 in Roseburg territory.
He just took his eyes off the ball right before it got there, looked up, saw all the guys coming at him. And if he keeps his eye on the ball, grabs it, he would have picked up maybe 3, 4, 5 yards.
It'll be at the Roseburg 48-yard line for the offense. It has been a lot of punts. We've had 5 punts total in this one. 1 turnover on downs and 2 interceptions thrown. Roseburg with the ball, 2:53 to go in the first half. Scoreless ball game, just barely in their own territory. Throw to the far sideline. That one's caught by Peyton Bryant. He slips one tackle down the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds. He'll pick up the first down on the longest pass play of the game for the Roseburg Indians. And that's Peyton Bryant on the catch, his first of the night.
And that was very, very close to Grizzlies getting another penalty right there for a horse collar tackle.
They'll put the ball at the McMinnville 32-yard line. Roseburg now will slow things down as they're quick to the line. It was a 20-yard pickup in through the air for Warmouth. He'll turn and hand it off to Gillespie, running left side. He's got good yardage through that front line for McMinnville, and he's going to make it second down and short as he gets to the 25.
Now, if Roseburg just plays that pass, run, balanced offense thing, Gillespie's going to have plenty of room to run because they're going to the Grizzlies will back way up to defend the pass.
7-yard pickup on the ground for Gillespie, up to the line quickly for Roseburg. They're at the 25-yard line, about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. Throw to the far sideline. It's Bryant on a catch again, waiting for it. He makes the catch, has the first down, and it's inside the red zone for the Roseburg offense. They're moving here before the end of the first half.
And right now they need to move as quick as possible. There's only 1 minute and 52 seconds left in the second quarter.
It's down to the 13-yard line on the pass play, a pickup of 12 to Bryant. Clock will start, a minute 45 to go. Warmouth in shotgun. Defense jumps. No whistles. There it is. They'll stop the play with 1:37 to go. On the left side, it looked like the defensive end into the neutral zone, and I think that's going to help out the Indians.
And right now, the Indians are playing very, very disciplined football. Right there was a called play to see if they would jump, and Indians did a great job at not moving at all.
The ball now inside the 10-yard line. Down to the 8 on the penalty. So it's first down and 5 after the penalty. They can get a first down inside the 5-yard line. Warmouth in shotgun. A man to his right hands it off. Trying to stretch it outside. Some space. Gillespie to the edge. Touchdown, Roseburg. And the Indians will take the early lead on top of McMinnville with 1:19 to go in the first quarter.
Now, I really like that play call right there because Gillespie's been going up the middle the entire time. The Grizzlies stuffed the middle completely. He bounced it out, was free. Nobody was there to grab him.
8-yard touchdown run with 1:19 to go in the first half. I said first quarter. It's Gillespie's second touchdown run of the season. And out for the extra point will be left-footed kicker Merhowie Lake. The holder is Colin Warmouth. And they'll look to try and make their first PAT of the season. They missed last week against Mountain View. The kick is up and through, and it is a 7-0 lead for Roseburg. First lead of the season for the Indians. They're on top 7-0 here in the first half. We'll take a quick 30-second break and come back with more of the action for you here on 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Abby's Legendary Pizza, Travel Leaders Flyaway Travel, I-5 RV, Mahalo Heating and Air Conditioning, and Pepsi Bigfoot Beverages of Roseburg.
Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
7-0 our score here in the second quarter. Roseburg takes the early lead. 1:19 to go before the halftime break. And the Roseburg Indians trying to make sure they hang on to that advantage. They'll kick it away. This will be the first kickoff of the game for the Roseburg Indians. Merhowie Lake will kick it away. 8-yard touchdown run for Doran Gillespie, his second touchdown run of the season.
Very, very impressive how the Indians are answering back from last week, being very positive. Just that score right there gives so much more momentum to that defense that's going to get ready to come out on that field.
Merhowie Lake will kick right to left on your radio dial. Roseburg in the white, McMinnville in the black. Ball set up at the 40-yard line. 2 men deep to return for McMinnville. The ball in the air, end over end to the goal line. And it is taken out of the goal line, out of the end zone for a touchback On the return, deep for McMinnville was Kevin Sullivan, but he'll get stopped before he can get going with the touchback.
Very, very nice kick by Mahawi Lake.
So the ball will come out to the 20 after the touchback. 7-0 the score. Roseburg in front. We'll recap this first half for you when we get to our halftime show, which is brought to you by Cooper's Pest Control. Tonight's game also brought to you by our friends at Fisher's Hearth and Home, serving Douglas County for over 30 years with the largest selection of wood, gas, pellet, and electric stoves and fireplaces in the area. Dupuis back out there in shotgun. Quick pass out to the near sideline. Caught by Smith. He'll make his way to the sideline out of bounds with 1:13 to go in the first half. It's close to the first down yard marker, but not quite all the way there. Zach Mandera on the tackle.
Right now, they're going to have to sit there. Roseburg's going to have to sit there and play bump and run with those outside receivers. Everything's going to be a pass. McMinnville does not want to go into halftime down on Roseburg.
It's a 9-yard pickup through the air. Smith with the catch there. His second of the night. In shotgun, Dupuis. He's got Kepler to his left. Clock is stopped with the play going out of bounds. Looking a quick pass to the far side now. Blocker out in front. Some area to work with on the far sideline and out of bounds. Once again, it's Smith again, and he'll have the first down and more.
Right now, if I was Roseburg, I'd only rush 3 people, and I would move everybody back except for the corners who should play bump and run.
The ball goes out to the 42. That is a pickup of 13 through the air for Dupuis to Smith. They'll set up at the line quickly. Smith and Dupuis combined for 13 touchdowns last year. They had a touchdown connection earlier this season, last week. Looking to pass downfield. Dupuis stepping up in the pocket. He'll tuck it and run to the 45. He has stood up. He's just hanging in there. Roseburg's defense looks to try and get somebody to rip the ball out, but what they do is they keep the clock moving because they stay in bounds and run it, and they held him up long enough there that the ball just kept going. It was Caden Gingrey on the tackle. Quick to the line on second down.
Coach right now is trying to tell him, hurry up, get on the ball, get a snap.
Out to the 49-yard line. There was a pickup of 7 on the run for Dupuis. Looking to pass, pump fake. Now in the backfield, he'll pitch it out, and it's intercepted by Reitman, his second of the game. Then he's tackled late, and a penalty flag will come out. Kepler on the tackle late. Once you go down, you're down in high school football. Kepler, playing NFL rules, doesn't need to make the tackle. That's going to tack on yardage at the end of the play. Second interception of the night for Colin Reitman.
And what happened right there is Stoner and Mandera are both coming through, rushing the quarterback. Quarterback sees Mandera, does not want to get hit again by Mandera. He's already been hit a couple times. So he just tosses the ball up. There was nobody there for him to toss the ball up to.
Well, that is a huge turnover here late in this first half for the Roseburg Indians, and tack on the penalty. They'll have decent field position with 31 seconds. Do you think they try to risk it and go downfield?
I'm not 100% sure. Normally I would say yes, but Coach Heitenberger likes to play it safe, sometimes take a knee right here and go into halftime with the lead.
2 interceptions for Colin Reitman, one in the back of the end zone, this one on a pitch that was just fluttering through the air. He gives the possession back to the Indians. 31 seconds to go in the first half. Roseburg with the ball. After the penalty, they set it up at the McMinnville 42-yard line. It's going to be a keeper for Warmouth. Out to the far sideline. He needs to get out of bounds. He lowers his shoulder and will go out of bounds, and they stop the clock with 22 seconds.
And it was a really good fake. It looked like it was going to Gillespie up the middle, and most of the Grizzlies did bite on it.
2nd and 2 for Roseburg.
So it'll be 2nd and 2 after a pickup of about 8. They take the ball down inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line.
And right now, maybe they try to get close enough to get a field goal.
That was a 9-yard run there for Warmouth. Handed off out of the backfield, Gillespie left side. Stretching it to the edge. Needs to try and find a way to get out of bounds. Roseburg, do they call a timeout here? They will. They had 2 remaining. They'll call a timeout. Their second of the first half. A run by Gillespie moves the chains and is inching Roseburg closer to field goal territory.
And right now, that's exactly what they need. They need to get as close as they can to field goal range. Right now, where they're spotting the ball, Mahawi Lake was coming up just short during the pregame kicking.
They put it out to 25, which would mean an 8-yard pickup on the ground for Gillespie on that carry. Puts him at 68 for the night. There's 12 seconds to go in the first half. Roseburg leads 7-0. We'll recap the first half coming up in the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. Last year, Merhowie Lake hit it from 30 yards out. That would need to be at the 13-yard line. The ball would have to be down that close at the 13-yard line. You add 17 for the placement of the ball for the hold, as well as the 10 yards for the end zone. So 17 and 13, if I'm not mistaken, I think that makes 30 yards, right?
Yes, he needs about, from
so
what I was seeing.
So they're about 10 to 12 yards away from field goal range probably.
About 5. He was coming up about 5 yards short earlier from this spot right here. So if he can get 5 more yards, he probably could squeak it right over the crossbar.
They'll come out with Warmouth in shotgun, Gillespie to his right. He's been the workhorse tonight as usual. And Adams and Bear to the right side. Herskovitz to the left for Roseburg. 12 seconds to go. Snap. Rolling to his right is Warmouth. A lot of room in front of him, but he's looking to pass downfield. A lot of coverage down that way. And Warmouth will get knocked out of bounds with 4 seconds to go. The clock kept going. They're still clicking the clock. Penalty flags out on the far sideline in the Roseburg bench area. And that's got to be, I would think that's got to be against McMinnville, and this could help Roseburg out in field position. The clock kept running, though, as the ball went out of bounds. There was 4 seconds when I looked at the end of the play.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against Bryson Elmer of McMinnville. He was sitting there pushing and shoving on a Roseburg player after the play was over with.
A lot of flags came out as they were scuffling on the Roseburg sideline. The play took defenders and Warmouth into the Roseburg players on the far side, but then some extracurriculars at the end of it. Warmouth had gone out just on the other side of the marker. I think maybe picks up half a yard. Really nothing much there, but we'll see if the penalty adds on. The official comes out to give us the hand signals here. He's still looking. Coach Heiberger out there just a yard into the field asking for some clarification from the white hat. Which leads me to believe that maybe he's not going to like this call. Personal foul on Roseburg. Personal foul on McMinnville. Those will offset, so the play will not happen.
And halftime.
And they're going to go in at halftime. There really should have been time left on the clock, but Roseburg will take a 7-0 lead into the halftime break and be happy with it. The Indians get one in the second quarter and lead by a touchdown heading into the break. McMinnville looks to be a little stunned here at the first half. We'll talk more about it coming up in the halftime break. It's the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show coming up when we return. This is Roseburg football, streaming online at 541radio.com and also on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg football online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
And are helped by several assistant coaches and parent volunteers, all of whom donate their time to help make the Grizzly program great. These boys are working hard to be
Well, we welcome everyone in to the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. Cooper's Pest Control, your locally owned bug assassins with great low rates. Give them a call at 673-0363. First time this season we get to say the Roseburg Indians hold a lead. They're on top 7-0 against the McMinnville Grizzlies. Roseburg on the road looking to head home with their first victory of the season. Josh Nelson here with me. A big thanks to Joe Glover coming out for the video production here on site tonight. And back in the studio, Chance Terrell. Thanks so much for the radio production this evening as we bring you Roseburg football here on 1490 The Score. Tonight's action brought to you by Flyway Travel. Contact their travel experts for your travel plans. Now located at 1445 West Harvard Avenue in Roseburg. And tonight's game also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. 7-0 the score at the halftime break. We'll recap that first half of action for you here in a moment. But, Josh, got to be excited if you're Roseburg headed into the locker room. And what really stood out there, we were kind of nitpicking about the clock management there at the very end. It looked like there probably could have been a few more seconds left to go in the first half after Colin Warmoth was taken out of bounds on a play. And then there were penalty flags at the end of it, a little bit of pushing and shoving on the Roseburg half sideline over there. But as it finished out, the clock ran out, and I looked over there as we kind of wondered after they announced the penalties offsetting to finish off the first half. I looked to the Roseburg sideline wondering if they were going to put up a fit about not having a couple of seconds on the clock. No. Those guys were jumping and hollering and celebrating as they ran off to the locker room, excited to be up 7-0 here at halftime after a disappointing start to the season last year. On the McMinnville sideline, it looked like it took them a second to kind of decide that, well, I guess that's the first half. Let's head back to the locker room. I think for Roseburg, all the momentum on their side of the field so far.
Yeah, right now all the momentum is. They were kind of jumping up and down right there in front of McMinnville's bench as they went out. I don't think McMinnville left. They all left out the same gate, so I think it was a you go out first and we go out type of deal. But Roseburg better watch out. They were kind of taunting a little bit as they were going by them. They don't want to make sure that don't come back and bite them later. So they need to come out excited but focused for the second half, because there were some things that McMinnville did that I think that we saw later on with those little short out routes that they saw were working, and they kept going to them. So Roseburg needs to calm down, come focus, and make some of those adjustments right there on defense. Otherwise, everything for Roseburg's been almost perfect tonight.
It has been a very good first half. Let's take a look at how things played out. First quarter action, it started out a little bit sloppy for both teams. In the first quarter, Roseburg deep in their own territory after Colbert took the kickoff, and he actually took it on a knee. Didn't mean to. He went down to catch the ball, but when you're down, when you put a knee down, you're down in high school football if you have the football in your possession. And that was down at the Roseburg 8-yard line. So right away, Roseburg was trapped on their own half of the field, deep in their own territory. 3 plays later, Colin Warmoth tried to squeeze one through the tightest of windows, 3 defenders on the receiver, and Warmoth threw an interception to start out the game, his second of the season. McMinnville got great field position starting at the Roseburg 16. A penalty backed them up to the 21, but they drove inside the 5-yard line. But on I think it was third down play, the quarterback, Sam Dupuis, throws an interception into the back of the end zone. It was Colin Reitman with his first interception of the season and first of the night. It was back-to-back interceptions to start out the game. A touchback for Roseburg. They bring it out to the 20. They would drive downfield into McMinnville territory, but eventually the drive stalled. They had to punt. That was the start of a series of punts for both sides. A punt for McMinnville on a 3-and-out for them. Then Roseburg had a drive that got them down inside the 5-yard line. They were in the red zone. They were at first and goal. They could not convert, end up turning it over on downs on the first play of the second quarter and gave the ball back to McMinnville. McMinnville deep in their own territory. They ended up driving a bit, but their drive would stall. They punted it back to Roseburg. Roseburg punted it back. McMinnville punted it back. A series of punts there, and then Roseburg getting field position near the midfield at their own 48-yard line. They go 52 yards and get an 8-yard touchdown run from Doran Gillespie. The kick from Merhowie Lake made it 7-0 with 1:19 to go in the first half, and Roseburg takes the lead 7-0. Colin Reitman got his second pick of the game on the next drive for McMinnville, a shovel pass that the quarterback, Sam Dupuis, making a bad decision. He was just trying to get rid of the football, goes an underhand sideways shovel pass and just doesn't get anything on it. It flutters in the air, and a great diving catch by Colin Reitman gives him the football. Roseburg, with 31 seconds left in the first half, tries to drive downfield, but not enough time to do anything with it, as the first half would come to an end with Roseburg in front, 7-0. Roseburg again winning the turnover battle. They're winning the penalty battle, and for the first time this season, they're winning on the scoreboard as well. This is the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. Cooper's Pest Control, your locally owned bug assassins with great low rates. Give them a call at 673-0363. We'll come back, talk more about the first half as we continue on with the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. Get you some individual statistics from the first half as well. Back with more after this here on CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
We welcome you back here to McMinnville High School, where the Roseburg Indians lead 7-0 here at the halftime break. This is the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. We'll take a look at your stat update from the first half and get you a look at some of your scoreboard updates from around the Umpqua Basin and the Southwest Conference. This is, again, the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. Let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds, quickly get in a station identification. You're listening to Roseburg football on 1490 The Score. Seven to nothing the score here at halftime. Joey Kieran, Josh Nelson with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Umpqua Dairy stat update from the first half of action. For your Roseburg Indians, 41 yards through the air for Colin Warmoth. Unofficial. These are all unofficial stats here from the first half. Colin Warmoth in the first half, he started a little bit shaky, but he finished out completing his last 4 passes, a long of 20 yards so far. He has 41 through the air on 5 of 7 passing. Completions going to Eddie Herskovitz. and he has got 4 yards through the air on the one completion. D'Angelo Adams with 2 catches for 5 yards, and Peyton Bryant had 2 big catches late in that first half for a total of 32 yards. On the ground, Doran Gillespie doing a lot of the damage, 15 yards. That'll be a season high on carries for him. He's got 68 yards on the ground. The 1 touchdown and 8-yarder came in the second quarter. Colin Warmoth with 15 yards rushing, and Gage Hill 1 carry for 7 yards. On the other side for McMinnville, Sam Dupuis, the quarterback, he's thrown 2 interceptions. He's got 77 yards through the air, 11 attempts, and 6 completions. 6 for 11, 77 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns for Sam Dupuis. On the ground, Noah Kepler, 8 carries, 15 yards. Kirby Hartzell, 1 carry for -5 yards. Sam Dupuis has taken a couple of sacks, and on a couple of scrambles, he's gone in the backfield. He's got -12 yards on 3 carries, -1 yard on a carry for Colton Smith. Roseburg's been in the backfield a lot on defense. And through the air, 40 yards on 3 catches for Parker Spence. His long is 15 yards. And for Colton Smith, 3 catches for 34 yards through the air. It is halftime here, the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. We will take a look at your scoreboard update here. Josh has been collecting scores from the first half. What are some of the scores you're finding from around the Umpqua Basin so far?
So right now I've got South Umpqua is up on Dayton 13-2, and then Elkton beat whoever
Elkton won earlier at Myrtle Point.
Myrtle Point. So Elkton beat Myrtle Point 74-8.
South Umpqua looking to go 1-1 on the season after a tough loss in week 1 against the team from British Columbia. Elkton moving to 2-0 after a couple of really big wins. Southwest Conference action, you heard a little bit about that stuff there as well.
So yes, South right now we've got South Medford is at 28-6 over Canby. And then I've got Sheldon. I don't have a score on them, but in the first quarter alone, they were up on Thurston 4 points or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 28-0 over Thurston. I thought that might be a good battle between a top 6A team and a top 5A team, but right now Sheldon looking very good. We'll keep an eye around the rest of the Southwest Conference tonight. Sheldon at Thurston, South Medford at Canby. We mentioned those 2 games. Canby, a team that Roseburg will see at the end of the regular season. North Medford was scheduled to host Jefferson. That game got moved to Churchill High School because of smoke down in the Rogue Valley, so they got moved on the road. It'll be a neutral site game there. And Grants Pass is at Summit in Central Oregon. Didn't hear any changes to that one. I know Central Oregon was having a few air quality issues as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other updates at all on that. The big game, I think, in the state of Oregon is a Class 5A school right now. Wilsonville and Churchill are playing, and it's a back-and-forth game. It looks like it's 28-21.
Looks like one of the scores we just saw was 21-21 in that one, but maybe just one of the teams
Churchill just scored again.
There you go. Days Creek winning over Prospect right now, too. Just getting this one from our friends at the News Review. Tom Eggers reporting Days Creek winning 46-0 over Prospect right now. So there you go. Some scores from around the Umpqua Basin and the Southwest Conference as we follow things tonight. If you've got any updates that you'd like to send our way, you can hit us up on the 541 radio app or on Twitter, and you can hit up the station 1490 The Score on Twitter, or send the message to me, Joey Keyran, Joeykeeran. We'll try to see that there. Last week we had a little fun on social media, people sending me messages on there. So if you're everybody tuning in, I always get told by one of the Roseburg coaches, he helps coach basketball and baseball, Justin O'Burney always tells me to say hello to the good people of Roseburg. So to the good people of Roseburg, thanks for tuning in tonight for the Cooper's Pest Control Halftime Show and for Roseburg football here on the radio and streaming online at 541radio.com. That'll do it for the Cooper's Pest Control Halftime Show. Coming up later in the game, in our postgame show, we'll name our Abby's Pizza Legendary Players of the Game. There's some good candidates tonight, some offensive production. We've seen some great defensive efforts tonight. It'll be interesting to see who stands out as we get ready for the second half. That'll do it for the Cooper's Pest Control Halftime Show. Second half kickoff coming up next. We'll have it for you when we return after this 60-second break here on CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Abby's Legendary Pizza, Travel Leaders Flyaway Travel, I-5 RV, Mahalo Heating and Air Conditioning, and Pepsi Bigfoot Beverages of Roseburg.
Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
Swimming season is finally here. But remember, respect the water. Don't swim and don't go in the water if it's under 60 degrees. Swimming in water under 60 degrees is life-threatening. It could cause hypothermia, which means your limbs paralyzed and you can't get out of the water. Each day, the water temperature of the Umpqua River will be posted on kpic.com and kval.com, and in the morning weather on KPIC. Respect the water. Know the temperature. Brought to you by the Respect the Water Safety Committee.
Go into longer, so use those fill spots.
I'll pull up radar.
Well, just as we thought we'd get the second half underway, the teams were called back off the field, and we got an update from the PA and some fans here in the stands behind us at McMinnville High School. Apparently a storm system might be moving through the area, and a lightning strike has hit off in the distance. That means an automatic, if you can see it, if you can hear it, it's an automatic 30-minute delay to the game. And every time that lightning strikes again thereafter, you start the clock over again for another 30 minutes. So, well, we are going to find ourselves filling a little bit of time here, Josh. I don't know if you've ever had to experience filling some radio time. It's still halftime. Roseburg leading 7-0 here from McMinnville High School, but now we are waiting for the second half to get underway after a lightning strike off in the distance. And Roseburg, a great first half. We will have some extra time to break down what we saw. We'll try to follow some other scores. But weather, Josh, that falls under your realm of expertise. You're a guy that, tell the great viewers of Roseburg, you actually have a little bit of education when it comes to meteorology.
Yeah, I went to the University of Oklahoma. It looks like it's actually raining right now.
It does look like there has started to sprinkle a little bit here at the field.
So I did go to University of Oklahoma for meteorology.
You used to be a storm chaser.
I did chase.
People are going to get to, as we fill some time, people are going to get to know you a little bit more here.
Yeah, I chased in 2009 was my biggest chase year. I did 13,000 miles chasing tornadoes.
What'd you say, 13,000?
13,000.
Jeez, some storm chasing there. So you were trying to bring up a look at our weather kind of radar here. What kind of things are you looking at there? And it looks like we're waiting for it to reload on your phone, but not a good look for us here. Hopefully we don't really have any issue with more lightning strikes in the area, but if the system's coming in, this could be something that we can't avoid.
Yeah, so when we drove up today, we kind of felt this big, strong west wind blowing us around the road a little bit. So as we were driving up 99 to get here, and then I looked at the radar at that time, and there was a storm system coming in, but it said that there was a chance of rain for Monday. Nothing today at all. But I did see that. I thought it was a little bit further off. That west wind is blowing that in. I think it's probably going to be this frontal boundary, because earlier tonight I saw this frontal cloud out here that was just kind of like a shelf cloud coming across us, and I was like, well, that's kind of like where a thunderstorm's going to end up being. It was a little bit humid when I stepped outside. So all in all, it normally in Oregon, it doesn't last very long. You get one or two booms and it's over with. So hopefully it's just one lightning strike and we can get this game going.
Yeah, that'll be the hope here, as we are in a lightning delay here at McMinnville High School. And for you Roseburg fans, though, it has been a good first half. Roseburg leading 7-0. Good in the fact that it has been a bounce-back week for Roseburg. After losing 46-6 last week against Mountain View, I had a lot of people ask me, how's the team look? And you tell them, well, 46-6, and they're like, oh, that's not a good way to start out the year. And no, it's not. But I did not think this Roseburg team was as bad as they looked last week. I don't know how much better they can be than they were last week, but I didn't think they were as bad as what they looked like last week. They've come out and proved me right. They've made me look smart after what happened last week by proving me right, saying that they're not that team. Last week was hopefully an anomaly for this team. Now they look to try and build that going forward and hopefully continue to build momentum as they get ready for conference play coming up here in a couple of weeks. They'll have a few more non-conference games, but tonight they've moved the ball well. They've stalled out a couple of times, so there's still room for improvement. The defense is night and day, though, from last week to this week, pitching a shutout in the first half. And now Roseburg with a 7-0 lead, looking to hang on to it, but their offense has been good. They've moved the ball nicely, need to finish off a few drives, but it's something that is moving this team in the right direction, and it's a little bit closer to what I think we expected to see from this team after what we saw last year with a lot of these guys coming back now this season.
So what I see is Roseburg's field issue, they didn't get to have their scrimmage. So they didn't get a huge thing to get their game plan out there, get to see what it's like going full speed and stuff like that. And then going into last week, it was their first chance to go full speed, hit somebody, get out there and work on a game plan, and there wasn't the adjustment that could be made. This week, after they've seen that, they've adjusted everything. The players have come out with a different attitude. The players have been excited ever since they stepped on the field. They're still excited going off the field, coming in. Hopefully this rain delay doesn't bring them down any. So it is a completely different defense, a completely different team right now, and I bet you that if they were to have played last week's game right now, that score for last week's game would have been a lot different. I'm not saying that Roseburg would have won, but I don't think it would have been 46-6 at all.
Well, we are here at halftime in a lightning delay. From the first strike, it's a 30-minute delay from that point on. I was hoping maybe they'd put a timer on the scoreboard here for you, but unfortunately they have not. 7-0 is the score. Roseburg in front. If there are no more lightning strikes, we'll get back to it after a 30-second delay. According to the phones here, you have no lightning nearby, so hopefully that's a good sign for what's going forward. But it has started to drizzle just a little bit. What do you got? Do you have a current temperature?
Right now, the temperature seems like it's cooling off right now. I'm trying to let it looks like it's 63 degrees is what I have.
That's what I have as well, 63 degrees here as we are at halftime. Started, I think, in the 70s, and it's cooled off a little bit, but it's been a very comfortable night for football. The rain, I don't imagine, as long as it doesn't get too heavy, shouldn't be too much of an effect. But like you mentioned, for a team going into the locker room with so much momentum, coming out ready, excited to go for the second half, and now they got to go back in and sit on their hands, wait for another 30 minutes before we get ready to start the second half.
Well, and we've seen what that does to other teams in college or in the NFL and stuff. The game's a completely different game after halftime. The good thing about this one is that it was at halftime, and so they're already not still going. They're already relaxed a little bit. They're going to have to come out and warm up all over again a little bit. The referees will have to give them about 10 minutes to warm up. But overall, I think Roseburg can control this game and still win this game, but they need to watch out because I did see McMinnville making some adjustments late in the game, and they were adjustments that was working. And there's some lightning right there.
Okay, you saw it. You mentioned the refs, and I looked down on the field, and they're all checking their watches now to add another 30 minutes, which means we may not get restarted until close to 9 o'clock now. They were all standing down there on the field. It's funny to see all the zebra stripes down there. They're all staring off to the sky in the direction of where the lightning strikes are happening, and they're all just standing there staring at the sky. It's kind of a funny-looking scene, but I saw them after you mentioned the lightning strike. They were looking at their watches. I saw the time at 8:24, so that means 8:54 before we could resume play once again with that lightning strike, as every time a new lightning strike happens, it's another 30 minutes on the clock.
Now then, the lightning strike I did see, it was just a flash in the distance. I can't say where that lightning strike was. Now then, as a meteorologist, lightning, in order for it to hit somebody on a field, it has to be within 10 miles. It'll hit from 10 miles away, all the way from 10 miles to hit. But if it's outside that 10-mile radius, it should be all right to play.
I do think there is, if you get an 8-second count, and maybe this was something I was hearing about the college game, but if it's an 8-second count, that maybe you can, it's too far away, but between the Lightning and the Thunder. I feel like I heard this recently, and it might have been in relation to college, so maybe that's why I'm thinking about this. I don't know if it's the same with high school football, that maybe if it happens and it's 8 seconds in between the strike when you see it and then you hear the thunder, that if it's outside that 8-second range that you might be okay. But as of right now, we know we're in a lengthy delay here with this lightning issues coming through the area.
Well, and it would have to be a distance thing, too, for OSAA. Just saying, because at dark, you can see a lightning strike from a long ways away. You can see the flash. Now, that was probably a lot closer. It looked a lot closer. But you could see the flash all the way over in the Cascades sometimes at night just from Roseburg. So I would imagine there's a distance thing, too. But the typical rule of hand as a meteorologist is as long as it's 10 miles away, it's not going to strike or it won't hurt anybody where you're at.
Our score at halftime, it's 7-0. Roseburg in front. Let's thank some more of our sponsors while we've got the time to do so. I want to say thanks to Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages of Roseburg and to I-5RV. Visit I-5RV and find your new adventure for as low as 0% down and $149 a month. I-5RV in Sutherland, now under new management. I was going to check in with Athletic Director Russ Bolin and see what he might be able to tell us. I don't know if he's here tonight. If he was, I would imagine he was down on the field with the officials as well. But he might have some more clarification for us on this lightning rule. Make sure we're portraying it exactly how it's supposed to be. But let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back with more. We are filling time. It's a lightning delay. Roseburg and McMinnville waiting for the second half to begin. We've been seeing a couple of strikes so far, and we are waiting for things to get back up and running. Roseburg leads 7-0. We will continue with the Cooper's Pest Control halftime show. It has been extended. Even though the big voice guy already told you that wraps up the halftime show, it's been extended thanks to some lightning in the area. I'm Joey Kieran, Josh Nelson with me. Big thanks to Joe Glover for coming out and running things here on site with the video production. Back in the studio, Chance Terrell helping out with the radio side as well. It could be a late one for us tonight, as Roseburg and McMinnville squaring off, but waiting for the second half to start after a lightning delay. 2-minute break. We'll come back with more for you here from McMinnville High School on 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You're watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Back here in McMinnville as the Roseburg Indians are leading 7-0 at halftime. Seems like may need to make sure the radio side of things are all up to snuff. Get us back on there. 7-0 the score at the halftime break. I think there we go. Got that all figured out there on the radio side. Back in the studio, Chance. Thanks so much, bud. We are in a lightning delay, if you might have just joined us here. Did get a couple other scores to report here, at least one other score. Let's see here. Tom Agers helped filling us in. Sutherland Volleyball defeating Taft today in 4 sets. The Sutherland football team is also at Taft today, and they're looking to go to 2-0 after a big win last week to start out their year. New era there at Sutherland football with Josh Gary taking back over the program. He was the head coach a couple of years ago, stepped away for a few years, now back at the helm of the program, switches that offense over to a wing tee. I got to tell you, I am happy that the new head coach, Dave Heiberger, a couple of years ago didn't come in and decide to put in a wing tee offense here at Roseburg. That is one of the most difficult offenses to do as a broadcaster. I feel for Dan Bain, who is calling those games on I-101 FM. It is difficult to follow the football with that wing tee offense, which is exactly the point, but it is difficult. But Sutherland football, you can catch that game on I-101 FM right now if you're looking for something other than filler here in between the first and second half on the Roseburg football game. I'm not going to say that I want you to tune the channel over there, but if you're looking for some football action, you can flip on over to catch Dan Bain and I-101 and Sutherland football.
Hey, don't feel bad, Joey, by the way. Churchill and Wilsonville are on a lightning delay now, too, as well.
Okay, well, there you go.
So we're not the only ones.
Wilsonville not that far from here where we are located in McMinnville. We will try and run through some other scores here. Just taking a look around high school football tonight. Since we've got the time, we can run through a little bit bigger scoreboard update. This one looks like it started early. Century and Mountainside. Century winning 21-14. Park Rose, this is kind of a surprise to me because I used to play in a conference with Park Rose. My junior year, they were in our conference. Then the next year, they went independent and weren't part of our conference. They were always a doormat. In fact, the year that they left and went independent, we didn't have them on our schedule. Our team got a little disappointed because we weren't very good my high school senior year, and Park Rose was always a team you knew you had a really good chance to win. They aren't on the schedule. We were a little disappointed because it might possibly have been our only win of the season. We ended up going without a victory that year, my senior year. But Park Rose, they're having a resurgence. In fact, I think Park Rose is actually being coached by a former Oregon Duck, and I forget who it is now, but we'll try and figure that out. But they're winning 35-0 against Benson. I'm trying to remember the name now, but it was a former Oregon Duck that is the head coach there at Park Rose High School. We'll do some research on that. Central beating McKay 7-0. West Albany winning over Crescent Valley 20-0. Corvallis and North Salem 7-7 is the score there. Willamette losing 28-0 against Crater. Willamette dropping to 5A this year, and that's a 5A matchup. Tualatin beating Oregon City 29-0. Sheldon winning 28-0 still over Thurston. Westview 20-7 over Glencoe. 29-0 Liberty over Beaverton. South Medford still beating Canby 28-6. Let's see. Sunset beating South Salem 23-3. North Medford winning big over Jefferson 49-8. That could put North Medford at 2-0 on the year, and they've gotten out to a strong start. Newburgh winning against Grant 14-0. Gresham and Aloha at 21-all. Let's see. We'll keep scrolling through some scores. Did you find out who's coaching Park Rose?
Yes, I did. It is Keenan Lowe.
There you go, Keenan Lowe. That's right. I knew it was. I was going to say something like Keenan Allen, but that's the NFL guy, not the former Duck player. So Keenan Lowe, yeah. So he's coaching Park Rose. There you go. Let's see. Any other interesting scores of note? Clackamas 24-0 against Sherwood. Lake Oswego beating Jesuit 7-0.
They're 14-0 now.
Okay, my alma mater, Barlow losing 28-7 against Tigard so far.
28-14.
Okay, coming back a little bit. 26-0 was the final score of the JV game earlier. Roseburg JV team came back from a 26-0 deficit to make that game interesting, but they lose 26-20 in that one. Their efforts to come back just falling a little bit short in that one. Our score right now in the varsity game, 7-0. Roseburg leading in that one. You got any other scores that you've found out there, Josh?
No, it looks like we got another weather delay for Liberty right now is on weather delay as well.
Well, coming up tomorrow, college football Saturday. Looking forward to that. We'll have Oregon State football for you starting at 5 o'clock here on 14-9 of the score. They kick off against Southern Utah. Home opener for the Beavers tomorrow. I don't know if they've answered the question yet, who's going to start at quarterback for the Beavers tomorrow. Jake Luton goes down with the concussion last week against Ohio State. Connor Blunt came in and looked pretty good for the Beavers, but it sounds like head coach Jonathan Smith saying that Jake Luton, if he's healthy, would likely be the starter again for the Beavers in week 2.
Well, from my experience, if they haven't named or decided the quarterback, don't know if he's healthy by Friday night, he's not going to play on Saturday. The concussion protocol, everything you've got to do in that concussion protocol, it's a lot of work. So I would imagine that it's going to be the other quarterback.
Yeah, Connor Blount, I think, will probably start, and I think that's a fine decision. He was a pretty good fill-in against Ohio State. We can see what he does against Southern Utah. That one kicking off tomorrow at 5. Coverage will start at 3 o'clock here on 1490 The Score. You can catch up with the Oregon State Beavers tomorrow as they look to get their first win of the season. Oregon Ducks tomorrow, they've got one bright and early, an 11 o'clock kickoff for the Ducks from Autzen Stadium as they host Portland State. The Vikings coming to Autzen. And pregame coverage will start at 9 a.m. on News Radio 1240 KQEN. The Oregon Ducks last week get a big win against Bowling Green. Started a little slow, but they fight their way back. 5 touchdowns and a touchdown run for Justin Herbert, who earlier today, Roxy Bernstein from the Pac-12 Network was on our airwaves here on 1490 The Score, was a guest on Off the Wall with us, you and me there, Josh, and he says that it might have been against a team like Bowling Green, but Justin Herbert last week showed that he deserves to be in the Heisman conversation. He gets ready to take on Portland State, another game where he can shine, although it's going to be against a team that's from a lower level for the Ducks, as they have a weak non-conference schedule this year. But Justin Herbert, a great game last week, and looking to continue that going into week 2 against Portland State.
Justin Herbert had a great game. I went to that game, and he threw 5 touchdowns, but he had 3 drop passes. He could have easily had 6 or 7 touchdowns because they were right on the money. They weren't just overthrown a little bit or underthrown. They were in the hands of the receiver, and they were dropped. And there was nobody there for the receiver to get hit by or anything. They were perfect passes, did a great job. I don't like to talk about Heisman Trophy chances in week 2. It's way too early. Too much stuff happens. I don't think the kids need to focus on Heisman Trophy. They need to focus on the game and their teammates and everything right now. Now, as we want to focus on Heisman, who's going to win this and that. But the kids need to focus on that. I think it's too early to talk about Heisman. I think he has a chance, but right now there's too many variables out there.
At halftime, 7-0 the score. Roseburg leading against McMinnville, but we are in a lightning delay. What I find interesting here, Josh, the teams had to go back to the locker room, but they've still got kids everywhere playing out on the football field. So apparently it's not safe enough for the football teams to come out and play, but they're letting all the kids scamper around out there. We had some youth football action going on at halftime. They had a couple of scrimmages going on out on the field, split it into half, and they had them out there playing. Now the kids are back out there just rumbling around, having some fun. But the actual football teams tonight, the varsity squads, back in the locker room as we wait for lightning to pass through the area. The umpires and the referees all down there still monitoring the skies as we wait. Did hear from Russ Bolin. I asked if there was a distance limit, if it was so far away that maybe it doesn't count, and he said no. It sounds like if there is a lightning strike, it's a 30-minute delay no matter what. So we could be in for a long one here tonight. Last time we thought we saw a lightning strike, and we are kind of precluded. We're a bit obstructed where we sit from seeing the sky where they're watching. But the last time we saw a lightning strike, that was about 8:24, which would mean we're about 14 minutes away from the possibility of the teams coming out of the locker room and starting to warm up for the second half. So last week it was a late one coming home from Bend. Looks like it could be even later tonight as we head back home to Roseburg after today's non-conference game against McMinnville.
And the Ducks have to kick off at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. It makes it an early morning to get up and watch some college football tomorrow, but, that's the case. I also think I heard that the Pac-12 networks, I think they may be in Corvallis this weekend for their new college game day type show going on this weekend. Pac-12 Network's going to go to a different campus throughout the season. Actually, no, excuse me. I believe it's going to be for the start of the conference season for the Beavers coming up in a couple of weeks, now that I'm remembering a little bit better. So not
they should be at the USC-Stanford game.
That would be a good spot to be. USC and Stanford is going to be a huge matchup going in. I was surprised to see that USC dropped 3 spots in the AP poll after winning in week 1. So they drop a little bit. Stanford moved up to number 10. I believe USC at number 17. That's a huge matchup in Pac-12 play going into tomorrow.
It's a huge matchup going into play tomorrow. It's going to make it an even bigger matchup for Oregon going up against Stanford in 2 weeks.
Well, we are waiting to see how things finish out here tonight. I would hate to see if they... I don't know if it's a possibility as of right now, but, if they keep seeing lightning strikes, do they end up maybe just canceling the second half? I mean, Roseburg, if this was a game in Medford, obviously conference game, maybe if it was a non-conference game in Eugene, it's only an hour drive home for Roseburg. We're looking at close to a 3-hour trip, especially for the buses. If this game keeps going on, I mean, a second half of action, you're looking at about an hour and a half for that. If we start at 9, it's 10:30, 3 hours back home, you're looking at 1:30 return time. That's probably best option right now for these two teams. So I don't know if they consider possibly maybe postponing or canceling the rest of this game here at halftime. That would be a shame because obviously both teams want to get as much experience out on the field as they can before getting into conference games. But at the same time, you got to take into account the travel time home for Roseburg. I don't think they're at that point yet, but if there's been more lightning strikes and we're looking at even further delay than what we initially were thinking, you got to start thinking that might start creeping into the minds of everybody involved down there to make those decisions.
Well, absolutely. You figure we wrapped up after pregame last week at 9:30, and right now all the officials are down there in the corner of the end zone talking, probably discussing what they're going to do.
I do see Russ Bolin down there now. He is down there. For those that might be watching at 541radio.com, he's in the gray sweatpants, and they're on the right side of the screen. So I'll check in with him via text and see if I can get any updates on when we might be able to resume. But you got Roseburg coach Heiberger, athletic director Russ Bolin down there. The head coach for McMinnville is also their athletic director, Ryan McIrvin, in his 4th season leading the Grizzlies. And I'm sure they're all down there talking through their options as we keep going. Let's go ahead and take another break. We'll make it another 2-minute break here in the action. 7-0 to score. Roseburg in front after the first half. We've been in a lengthy halftime show due to lightning delay. We'll have more as we hopefully get an update for you when we come back after this 2-minute break. This is Roseburg football, streaming online at 541radio.com and on the radio at 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg football online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
At McMinnville High School, seeing if we can get an update on when we might be able to get back to action here in a lightning delay. Roseburg and McMinnville. The McMinnville Grizzlies, the host team tonight, but trailing 7-0 against Roseburg. An 8-yard touchdown run for Doran Gillespie. The difference in this game so far as he put Roseburg in front for the first time this season. First time Roseburg has had a lead against against an opponent. Roseburg got within 1 point of Mountain View last week, trailed 7-0 early. A 61-yard touchdown run from Gillespie made it 7-6. PAT was no good, so the Indians trailed 7-6 at the time, but then it was all Mountain View after that. Here tonight, it's been a fairly even matchup, and Roseburg leading 7-0. Well, Josh, as you get ready for the second half, we mentioned how McMinnville had made some late adjustments on McMinnville made some late adjustments in that game, and they were looking to go with a bit of a hurry-up, trying to score there in the final minute 20 of that first half, see if they could even things up against Roseburg before going into the halftime break. So they maybe go to a little bit different offensive scheme and mindset because they're trying to run a quick offense. But we saw some things work, those quick out passes for Roseburg. What kind of adjustments to that do you think they need to make going into the second half, barring that the second half does, in fact, get underway?
You know, I'd like to see Roseburg's corners play a bump and run type of coverage, but the coach knows better than I do. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of practice or anything to see how well these corners are, how fast they are. He may have them back because they're not fast enough to get down the field and keep the receiver from getting behind them. But in order to sit there and take away that short out route, you have to be able to get there, and you've got to get there quick because you're the only guy that can make that tackle.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing how it goes. We sent a message down to Russ Bullen down on the sideline to see if he could help us out, but he is busy down there talking with the officials about what they plan on doing here. Coach Heiberger's headed back to the locker room, it looks like. He was out there talking with the officials as well. Athletic trainer Julie Deaver out there as well as Russ Bullen down there, and then all the officials. So it's a lot of Roseburg representation down on the field. I'm sure that the athletic director Ryan McIrvin has gone back to his locker room to go talk with the McMinnville Grizzlies as well. He's also the head coach, so doing double duty tonight, especially with the lightning delay going on here at the moment. But getting ready for the second half here momentarily, hopefully at any moment.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why Roseburg has such a representation down there is because a bus driver can only be up for so long drive. So I don't know if that's going to come into play either. It is a 3-hour ride up, 3-hour ride back. I don't know if the sitting at the game actually counts against his time or not, but that may come into play as well.
It is starting to rain a little bit heavier out on the field. Things have we've got some motion down there on the field. We've got 3 officials staying down on the field. Russ Bullen's headed to the Roseburg sideline. A couple of officials went back towards the locker room, it looks like, and we got 3 that are still out there just hanging around watching the sky. But to be honest with you, the body language right now hasn't looked great. I don't know if maybe the coaches head back to the locker room to start getting everybody ready. But we'll see. But things are kind of starting to get a little bit weather-wise not as great out there on the field right now.
No, not at all. Band's starting to play right now. I do want to say that right now all the fans and stuff have been real supportive. None of them have really looked like they left. The barbecue on both sides of the end zone right now. All the concession stands, all the kids are out on the field, so they're not acting like they're going to call this game early. It looks like and sounds like they may be getting ready to come back out.
Russ Bullen over there, he's thrown his hood back on. He's over on the far sideline. Just waiting to see how this one works out. It's amazing how it's starting to feel like fall. It has really moved quick from summer to fall here, but tonight on the drive up, nice and sunny. Saw some patches where some smoke was starting to kind of get into the air off in the distance. We had hoped that might not affect anything here tonight. Hasn't really. It was clear skies when we got here to McMinnville. Obviously, night has fallen, so hard to tell on smoke levels this evening. But the rain would definitely help with any of that. And it's a much-needed rain for the region, but it did not expect to see rain. And it's really kind of crazy how the weather has changed, and it's really started to feel like it's fall and football season. I guess it's perfect for opening weekend of the NFL.
Yep, and it looks like McMinnville's coming back on the field, and it looks like we're going to get ready to start again here real quickly. The smoke and stuff, the wind's been blowing up until pretty much this point right now from the west, so any smoke that would have been coming would have had been coming from the west, so I don't think we have to worry about that at all tonight.
Well, it looks like we will have a second half for you. McMinnville has come back out onto the field. A long time for them to kind of turn the page from a first half that didn't go their way. For Roseburg, it's a long time to sit and let the momentum and the excitement of leading 7-0 after one half of play diminish. It's basically like a whole new ball game. You're coming out with a clean slate. It's almost like you're starting a fresh game here tonight after what was a lengthy delay. And I think we're about 2 minutes away from that last lightning strike we saw that was 30 minutes away. So I think they're getting ready to start things off, and here come the Indians.
Yeah, right now it is a whole brand new ball game because there's been a lot of time. Coaches have had time, as long as they've got video on tablet to go over video with players, to see what they're doing wrong, make huge adjustments if they wanted to right now. So that bodes well for McMinnville. Now in the NFL last night, the first game of the season, Thursday night NFL game, got postponed. It was an hour late almost because of a weather delay as well. Well, and did that play havoc on the NFL teams? I don't know, but the NFL teams and college teams get a chance to actually practice that. They get a chance to see what they would do in that circumstance. They actually try to get that down to a science, where in high school, they don't get that chance. They've got so much time to practice. It's only a couple of weeks. They've got to get as many plays in as possible. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out. Roseburg has to come out now with all that same energy, but play just as disciplined as they did. They only had one penalty that actually counted against them the entire first half. So they need to come out, play disciplined, but stay as motivated as they were when they left the field.
Teams are coming back out to stretch and get ready for the second half. You pretty much have to come out and approach it like it's the start of the game. Get your stretch on after the bodies sit for a while there. It's a chance to get out there and get loose again. But, boy, it has been a long delay between the first and second half. It has been at least 45 minutes in between the first and the second half. Actually, it's been an extra 45 minutes at least on this halftime. Add in the 20-minute halftime already. It has been a long layoff for these two teams. So we'll see how they do coming out. Roseburg's defense lights out in the first half. The offense doing a good job moving the ball. We'll see if they can continue to do that as we get ready for the second half of action coming up for you here tonight. Roseburg football this evening brought to you by Cascade Community Credit Union, belong to Douglas County, and by our friends at DC Farmers Co-op, where everyone's welcome to shop. Let's go ahead and take one last 2-minute break. We'll come back as the teams will start wrapping up their warm-ups, and we'll get the second half underway for you. Roseburg football coming at you in a few moments here on CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You're watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Football start the second half.
Well, we are about to get the second half started here between Roseburg and McMinnville. Joey Keyran, Josh Nelson with you here tonight as we bring you Roseburg action from McMinnville High School, where the Grizzlies trail Roseburg 7-0. Taking a look at the schedule, Roseburg's got the Reynolds Raiders coming up next week. It'll be the home opener, and I've been told with quite confidence the field will be ready to go. The Roseburg Indians will be playing at Finlay Field coming up next week, and we know they had the turf delays there. Looking forward very much to seeing the new Finlay Field with the new turf out there. Reynolds, though, tonight, they are looking to move to 2-0 after a huge week one, 60-plus points and a shutout, and now they're leading at 27-7 against Franklin tonight, so that's a team that could come in riding high after the first 2 weeks of the season. Roseburg might have their hands full against the Raiders coming up next week, but right now they're looking to move to 1-1 on the year as we get the second half about to get started. 7-0, Roseburg in the lead. Third quarter action coming up. The Indians will kick it away right to left on your radio dial. Merhowie Lake out there to kick it away. The left-footed kicker puts it high in the air, end-over-end kick out to the 13-yard line, picked up there by McMinnville, up the middle of the field and off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 10, 5, touchdown. And for the McMinnville Grizzlies, that's about as good as you could get it to start. And for Roseburg, you couldn't ask for a worse beginning to the second half. On the kickoff return, Kevin Sullivan, he takes it. I believe that was probably 87 yards to the house on the kickoff return. And the Grizzlies are a PAT away from tying this ball game up here to start the third.
And the middle just opened up on that. Somehow the middle got vacated. I'm not exactly sure. It got vacated. It just opened up. He ran straight up. He didn't really even have to dance around or anything. Just ran straight up the field, scored that touchdown.
The PAT out to kick at the place kicker, Parker Spence, and there is a flag out before.
It's on Roseburg. It's encroachment.
Well, the Indians, this has been a subpar start to the third quarter. The penalty is declined. They'll re-kick. The holder is Colton Smith. Right-footed kicker, Parker Spence. And he's looking to try and knock the PAT through to tie this ball game up. And the kick is up and through. Roseburg last week blocked a couple of PATs. Couldn't get a hand on it that time. 7-7 our score here early third quarter. Let's take a quick 30-second break, get our bearings straight, and ready to come back with more of the third quarter here on 1490 The Score.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Lake and Bear back to set, receive.
Well, we're all squared up at 7-all now. A great start to the second half for McMinnville after the lengthy delay. The Grizzlies will kick off left to right after the kickoff return, 83 yards to the house for Kevin Sullivan and the PAT good to make it a 7-7 ball game. It'll be Parker Spence who had the PAT to tie up the ball game. He'll kick it away. Right-footed kicker sets it up on the 40 for Roseburg. Deep to return, Merhowie Lake and Cole Bear. They set up at their 10-yard line. Roseburg will move right to left here in the second half, the third quarter. It's a short, low kick on a couple of hops. Lake will take it at the 6, up the middle, and he gets hit right away. Gets just past the 20, taken down at the 24-yard line. And that's where Roseburg will start with the football on their own half of the field.
Now, Roseburg right now needs to keep their heads up. It was one bad play. Forget that play. Forget that drive. Keep your head up. Stay excited. Stay disciplined. And come out in here and play football just the way you did in the first half.
Colin Warmoth, the senior, 6'3", 175 pounds, will lead the offense out. He'll spread out two receivers to the left side, Adams and Hershkovitz. Two backs in the backfield along with him, Gillespie and Hill. Gillespie to his left, Hill to the right. Shotgun snap, hands it off. No, keeper for Warmoth, running the triple option. He holds on to it, has the first down as he slides out past the 40-yard line. They'll give him, they'll say down at the 40 exactly. And a nice run of 16 yards for Colin Warmoth to start out the first offensive possession for Roseburg.
And that was a very well-read triple option. He saw no receivers open. He didn't hand off. He was able to beat the defensive end around the corner.
First down and 10 now from the 40. Left hash mark for the Indians. Turn and hand it off and hit in the backfield. Looked like maybe a little miscommunication. Warmoth turned to hand it off, and Gillespie kind of ran into him, and Gillespie cut down in the backfield. Tackle for loss for McMinnville.
Now, out of the things that have been the struggle for Roseburg tonight, that middle run has been a struggle because they give it away. They show that they're going to do that, and McMinnville's been very good at stuffing that middle.
Loss of 4 on the first down carry for Gillespie. Second down and 14. Gillespie sets up in the backfield with Warmoth. Back behind him. Fake the handoff there, looking to pass. Warmoth time, going downfield, airs it out. The pass off the hands of the defender. Trying for Adams out there. But I believe in coverage for McMinnville was Ian Wilson. He was in front of the receiver and nearly got his hands on it for a pick. So the incompletion makes it third down and 14 now for Roseburg. Tie game, 7-7, 10:35 to go, third quarter. We've got ourselves a whole new ball game here in the second half. Rain's still slightly coming down, but they have subsided just a bit. Third down and long. 14 yards to go for Roseburg. Looking to pass. Warmoth, quick pass far side. It's a little high going up for it. The receiver has it, but it's only a short gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Bear with the reception. Gets it just on the other side of the 40. That's a pickup of about 5 and not enough to try and move the chains.
That's a very good go up and grab kind of ball by Bear. He was able to get up there, and he did. He didn't let nobody come around or anything. That was a very good catch.
Bear picking up 5 yards, but the Indians needed 14. Fourth down and 9. Warmoth back to kick it away. From his 30, he'll get a boot, low kick towards the sideline, and it'll bounce inbounds just short of the 20 and out of bounds, and the kick away. Roseburg will give it back to McMinnville. A momentum on the Grizzlies' side now as they get the ball back with 9:52 to go in the third quarter.
And right now, the defense just needs to come out and play dominant. They need to come out. Mandera and Stone need to come out and say, hey, guys, we've got this. We've had this the entire night. Let's continue to dominate the defensive side of the ball and make McMinnville throw the ball. As long as you make them throw the ball, you've already seen the quarterback's going to throw some interceptions.
At the 21-yard line, starting off their second possession of the second half, although McMinnville, the kickoff return to start the second half. Not really a very long possession for him, only 15 seconds on that one. The quarterback, a senior Sam Dupuis, will go under center with I formation behind him. The deep back is Sullivan, who had the kickoff return. He is well behind. Fullback out there as well. Move a man in motion, and flags will come out as they stop the play. It's from the back judge, and it's going to be a delay game on the Grizzlies.
And that's right there is what's killing McMinnville today. They're already up to 8 penalties against them, and they're playing just really sloppy with the penalties. When you see that many penalties, you expect to see that in a week 1 type of game. You don't expect to see that now in a week 2 type of game.
Well, and that's a tough one, too. It's the first play of the drive. You got to imagine the offense comes out pretty much knowing what they want to do on the first play, and they can't get it set, can't get it going, and they end up with a delay of game. They lose 5 yards back to their own 16-yard line. Dupuy under center. Again, I formation, tight end to the left, turns and pitches it, trying to run to the right, and cut down in the backfield. A tackle for loss. Once again, Roseburg in the backfield, and it's Bryson Diaz again with another tackle for loss.
Diaz is having a spectacular night. We were kind of wondering who's going to be the breakout kind of guys this year. Diaz is definitely showing that tonight.
Sullivan, the ball carrier, cut down in the backfield, and it pushes the ball back inside the 10 now. So the penalty and the tackle for loss, it's second down and extremely long. Ball back to the 8-yard line here.
And right now I expect McMinnville to throw one of those short out routes.
That was a loss of 8 yards. Shotgun snap near the end zone. Pressure coming. Steps up in the pocket. Has a man downfield. That one knocked away by Warmouth at the last second in coverage. Colin Warmouth with the pass breakup. The pass intended for Colton Smith.
And that was perfectly read by Warmouth. He was watching the quarterback's eyes the entire time. The quarterback keyed in on the receiver way early and stared at him the entire time. Warmouth knew where that ball was going. He watched, and he was able to knock that ball away.
The ball at the 8-yard line. They've got to get it out to the 31, it looks like, for a first down. So that's 23 yards to go for the first down on third down. Setting up in shotgun is Dupuy. He is a couple of yards shy of the end zone. That's his own end zone. He's rolling to his right, some protection as they move the pocket, throwing downfield. The receiver at the sideline, incomplete. The call as we're screened from the sideline by the McMinnville team, but the official says the pass took the receiver out of bounds. Incomplete, and it's fourth down and long, and another great defensive stand by this Roseburg Indians defense.
Right now, this defense is playing lights out all the way. They haven't given up a touchdown at all tonight. We're already 8 minutes and 54 seconds left in the third. They're playing a good job. They just need to keep that motivation the entire rest of the game.
Only touchdown so far for McMinnville was a special teams touchdown. Punt from the end zone for Dupuy. Gets it away. Not a great punt, and it's going to set up Roseburg with good field position, and a penalty flag out on Mandera. They're going to call it a block in the back, I believe. He thought he got him on the side. Mandera throws his hands up, but a penalty flag out. The ball's at the 40-yard line. I don't know if that's where it came to rest, but the Indians were going to get great field position. The penalty flag's going to move them back into their own territory.
And that was clearly a block in the back, and that was clearly something Mandera knew it was going to come out. That's what's going to happen. Those are one of the plays right there. Mandera is such a great player. But every game, there's got to be at least one of those penalties that he's going to get, and it just drives me nuts.
He's an aggressive, hard-nosed player, and that penalty will cost him 15 yards.
And Roseburg would have had great field position right there.
They would have. The penalty flag was at the 40-yard line, so they'll count it off from there. So it'll go to the Roseburg 45 into their own territory. So the Indians still with great field position, but it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, they would have been starting on the other side of the 50, going with only 40 yards to get a touchdown would have been a heck of a lot better.
So first down and 10 for Roseburg from their own 45-yard line. 8:41 to go, tie ball game, 7-7. Warmouth looking like he might be calling out an audible as he yells out to his receivers to his left. That's Lake and Herskovitz. He's got one man in the backfield with him. That's Gillespie. They'll hand it off on an in around for Lake, trying to lose one man in the backfield. He'll get across the line of scrimmage, taken out of bounds, shy of the 50-yard line, but not a bad run on the end around sweep for the wide receiver. Merhowie Lake getting his first carry of the season, and they'll put him down to the 49-yard line and pick up a 4.
And as a coach, I would take that all day long. 4 yards every single time, or in 3 plays is 12 yards.
So 4 yards on Lake's first carry of the season. Second down and 6. Gillespie to the left of Warmouth. Ball on the right hash mark, looking to pass. They'll go with a quick out route to the far side. That ball's tipped up in the air. Is it intercepted? And they will give the ball to the Grizzlies. Tipped up in the air and taken away by McMinnville. And they'll have the ball on their own side of the field. Looks like the 36-yard line on the interception, second of the night for Colin Warmouth, but put an asterisk next to it.
Yes, that's exactly like last week's game. It gets tipped up in the air, and there's a defender there that just happens to get up in the air and grab the ball. Oh, I don't like putting those against Warmouth at all, but that's what happens. It really stinks, but Mandera's doing a great job right now, pumping up the defense, trying to get them ready to play right now.
It'll be at the 36-yard line for McMinnville as they get the ball for their third time here in the third quarter. 7-7 ball game, 7:57 to play before the fourth. In shotgun, Dupuis looking to his left, going to throw that direction, has a man there, it's caught. A great pitch and catch there for the Grizzlies, and the catch made by Parker Spence, and it puts the Grizzlies into Roseburg territory.
And there was nothing Roseburg could have done on that play right there. That was a perfectly thrown ball right into the hands of the receiver, in between the defender's hands as well.
That is a 28-yard strike through the air for Dupuis to Spence. They go from 136 to the other. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the Roseburg 36 for McMinnville. They go to a tight bunch formation, hand it off, running left side. Not a lot of room for the running back. Carrying, that's Noah Kepler on the carry. He gets inside the 35, but not much more. They'll put him at the 33.
Roseburg's defense, I don't know how many times I have to say this tonight, but their defensive line, just night and day from last week, being able to shut that run down.
Caden Gingery on the tackle there for Roseburg. 2nd down and 7 to go for the Grizzlies. Fake a handoff, looking to throw, pressure, stepping up into the pocket, throwing downfield, the wobbly pass, it finds its target. Down to the 10, and it's another big catch for Parker Spence, and he's helping this Grizzlies offense move down the field.
And that's Warmouth and Isaiah Moore on the coverage, and they're right there. This quarterback is being very, very accurate and deliberate with where he's putting the ball.
Down to the 8-yard line on the pass play, only the third play of this drive for the Grizzlies. And that'll be a pickup of 25 through the air for McMinnville. Spence, another catch, his 5th of the night. Sets him up 1st and goal from the Roseburg 8. Under center, Dupuis, I formation, fakes the handoff, play action, rolling to his left, pitches it short, it's in the air, tipped up by the receiver, but it falls incomplete, intended for the fullback, Derek Fox.
And Bryson Diaz got through the line again and was very smart on that play. He could have really hit the quarterback. He did not, just gave him a little shove that kept a penalty from being thrown on Roseburg.
Over the century mark tonight for Sam Dupuis, the quarterback. He has not thrown for a touchdown, though, and he's got 2 interceptions. It's not necessarily been a sharp night, but he's up to 130 yards passing. 6:22, clock stopped down the incompletion. 2nd down and goal from the 8 for McMinnville. They'll spread it out. Shotgun snap coming. Trips to the left for Dupuis. Looking that side. He'll go on the slant route. Thrown over the receiver and off the hands for the guy that's had 2 interceptions tonight. Colin Reitman can't hold on to it, but it's an incomplete pass. 3rd down and goal.
And there is a flag on the play.
We'll wait to see what the call is. That one goes right off the shoulder pad for Reitman. A takeaway there would have been another one in the end zone for him. So we'll wait on the call here. False start on the offense, going to back him up. An illegal shift, they'll say. And it is going to repeat 2nd down as they'll back him up. So the incomplete pass will not be marked down for Dupuis.
And so right now for McMinnville, every single time that they get a penalty on a drive, it kind of seems like it stalls their drive. Anytime that they get backed up, it seems like their drives stall.
5-yard penalty back to the 13-yard line. 6:18 to go, third quarter. 7-7 ball game. McMinnville looking for their first lead of the evening. Tied it up on an 83-yard kickoff return to start the second half. Dupuis in shotgun, rolling to his left, 3 targets that way. Looking at the short route, and his pass incomplete as he had pressure. Hit as he threw, and it's none other than Zach Mandera applying the pressure in the backfield.
No, right there, Zach Mandera did exactly what he needed to do. You have to get them moving. They had quadruple. They had all 4 receivers on that side of the field, and they were all going kind of weird, different directions. without that pressure right there, that could have been a big play for McMinnville. So Zach Mandera did a great job.
3rd down and goal from the 13. They need the end zone here. You wonder if they try to kick it if it goes to 4th down, or do they try to score. But, well, they've got 3rd down to deal with first here. Roseburg defense trying to hold. 4-man front. 3 linebackers. And jumps up front by Roseburg's defense is going to give 5 yards back. In the middle, the defensive tackle is jumping on that play.
And I think Roseburg has been probably jumping the snap count a little bit with how quick they're getting in the backfield. And I think McMinnville actually took advantage of that one that time.
So a 5-yard penalty for Roseburg. Moves the ball back to the 8-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 8 once again. And that might change the series here. Even if they only pick up a couple of yards, they're much closer to the end zone than they were when it was 3rd and goal from the 13. Clock running down to about 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. 7-7 our score. McMinnville with the football threatening. They'll set up. Rolling to his left again is Dupuis. He has time. Now pressure in the backfield. There is a flag out. He's trying to run. He gets hit. Roseburg needs to try and strip the ball. They can't get it loose, but Mandera spinning the quarterback down will bring him down for a sack and a tackle for loss, and it's a chop block on the offense, and we'll find out. Does Roseburg accept the penalty and let him do 3rd down again, or do they force him down to a 4th down here?
With the way their defense is playing, I'd almost take the penalty and do it again. It depends on how many yards it is.
Yeah, it could be from the spot of the foul, but it's a personal foul, so that would be a 15-yarder. And they will decline it.
Wow.
The block was on Bryson Diaz. They decline it to make it 4th down. I mean, it was a sack anyway, so a loss of yard for Zach Mandera. He gets the sack back to the 16-yard line, so that's a loss of 8 for Dupuis. And now comes out the field goal team.
I don't like that call by Roseburg. I would have taken the 15 and gone again because I did watch this kicker. He has a very strong leg, very accurate.
Parker Spence will come out to kick. Holding it is Colton Smith. And a penalty flag comes out before the kick. And which side does this one go on?
It's going to go against Roseburg, I think, against Ethan Stoner.
It is a 5-yard penalty against Roseburg.
And right now, Roseburg has already tripled their penalties from the first half to now.
The 5-yard penalty takes it down to the 11. The field goal unit stays on the field, so we'll see. Now it'll be they put it down at the 18-yard line, so a 28-yard attempt here for Parker Spence. Holding is Colton Smith. The snap, decent placement down. The kick is up, and it's good.
And it just went over the right upright. Just a little bit more, it would have been outside that right upright.
28-yard field goal is good for Parker Spence. And whistles are blowing here. I think the clock might have kept running inadvertently there. They've got it at 5:28 at the moment up on the clock. They may adjust it here. But a field goal through, 28-yarder, makes it 10-7. McMinnville in front of Roseburg. We take the 30-second break, come back with more of the 3rd quarter here on 1490 The Score.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Back here with 5:47 to go in the 3rd quarter as they put a couple of seconds still back up on the clock after the field goal. The clock kept running. I think they put, it's down to 5:28, so they add 14 seconds back onto the clock. 10-7 the score. Roseburg football tonight here on The Score, brought to you by Good Vibrations, solutions for home theater and automotive audio. You can feel it at Good Vibes. So Roseburg has given up 10 points here in the 3rd quarter. They need to get the offense back on track. They had a drive that stalled out. Now they need to get things moving once again. It could start with a nice return. Merhowy Lake, Colbert back to return at the 10. Kick from Parker Spence, who just put it through the uprights to give McMinnville the lead. Will kick it away. It's a low line drive kick. It'll hop at the 29, taken at the 14 by Lake. A stutter step, and he can't get away. He's taken down shy of the 25-yard line. They'll put it at the 24, and that's where Roseburg will start out the drive. 5:37 to go here in the third quarter.
Now Roseburg needs to be very, very picky about what they do. They need to be very balanced on what they do. Don't try to run it up the middle. They've got the middle covered. Their middle linebackers are literally playing in the A gaps. So they need to try to bounce it outside, but don't run it every time. Get some short passes in there as well.
First down and 10 from the Roseburg 24, left hash mark. Warmouth will set up the offense. 2 targets to his right side. So far tonight, Warmouth nearing that 50 yards through the air. He's only attempted 9 times. He'll get the snap, turns and hands it off to Gillespie. He makes one cut before he gets to the line of scrimmage, back to the left side. He finds an opening for a small gain on first down, and he gets across the 25 out to the 28-yard line as he'll pick up 4.
Now, McMinnville's corners are playing the exact same way. They are playing off about 5 yards. So right now, do a little out route just like they were doing on you in the first half.
Warmouth will send Lake out to the left side in the slot. They call it the Mo. Hershkovitz out there, wide to the far side on the left. 2 targets to the far side of the field for Warmouth. That's Adams and Bear out there as they check their wristbands. Snap, handed off. It's a keeper here for Gillespie, who gets the handoff. He races to the sideline. That's near the first down marker. They keep him in bounds, and I think they give him to the 35, which would be good enough for the first down run.
And it's a very good run. I think Roseburg's seeing right now that if they try to go in the middle, it's not working very well, and everything seems to be trying to tail to the outside.
Last week, 89 yards on the ground for Gillespie. He's nearing that, 75 so far tonight with the 1 touchdown run. He's the only man to find the end zone so far for the Roseburg Indians. First down and 10 now from, they've actually put the ball at the 36, so make it 76 yards on the ground tonight for Gillespie. First and 10 from the 36, left hash mark. They show a blitz, don't take it. Warmouth will run it himself. He looks for a blocker. Now he gets it. Couple of darts and dives as he cuts back up the field. Dives forward, and a huge gain on first down. He'll pick up about 8 on the carry.
And right now, that's just an option. He's got almost a triple option on that play right there. And he's watching what happens. Gillespie's getting eaten up real quick, so he's keeping the ball, and he's making good yardage out of it.
Out to the 43 for Warmouth on the carry, 8 yards exactly. He sets up in shotgun. One back to his right, that's Hill. Turn and give it to Gillespie, trying to pick up the first down. Second effort, he stays on his feet, pushing the pile, and he might get the first down on the second effort. He was hit at about the line of scrimmage, if not further back, and he carries that one to move the chains.
Yep, he's getting the first down right there. Now, here's my concern, is every single time that Warmouth has thrown an interception a drive before, they want to run the ball. It becomes very, very predictable, and they end up shutting them down partway through or halfway through this drive. So I'm hoping to see a pass come out soon. It wasn't Warmouth's fault, and I want him to have confidence in throwing that ball.
4 straight runs on this drive for Roseburg. They'll set up first and 10 from their own 46. Hand it off to Gillespie, going out to the far side of the field. The home crowd's calling for a flag, and there is a flag at the end. 2 of them come out on the sideline, and that could be against McMinnville. But in the backfield, it looked like there could have been a hold on Roseburg, but that play goes clean, and now we've got the flag on the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a late hit against McMinnville, but I agree. The fans were wanting the whole call. I could see the hold. I think we all could see the hold. It was pretty clear from where we were at.
And that's going to be a big turn of events on McMinnville, and that gets the crowd going. Added on to the end of the run by Gillespie, which I didn't see where they marked it off from. I think he went out just on the other side of the 50, probably about the 47-yard line, which would be a pickup of about 7.
And the fans are not happy about that call right there.
So we'll give Gillespie 7 yards on that carry. And then the penalty adding on to it. It takes the ball down inside the 35 to the 34. Hand the ball off to Gillespie, trying to outrun the defender in the backfield. He's still on his feet. Now he's finally going to go down.
Now, I do not like that play call. I did not like that play call from the get-go. They were showing blitz. Every gap's covered. There's no safety over the middle at all on that play. They could have got a pass over right over the middle, and it could have easily been a touchdown.
So the penalty had taken it down to the 34, but the loss of yardage on first down takes them all the way back outside the 40, 42-yard line. So that is a loss of 8 for Gillespie on the run. Set up in that pistol formation, fake the handoff. Warmoth throwing over the top, has a man down there, and it's through his hands, but had a defender all over him. D'Angelo Adams will draw a flag late. He had a defender scrapping with him the entire time, and I was surprised we didn't see a flag earlier, and we do get one late on that play.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that ball should have been caught. It was in his hands. It was in his chest. It should have been caught. It shouldn't come down to the pass interference. Oh, is it going against Roseburg? No.
They're just backing back up to where they're going to count it off. It is a PI call on the McMinnville defense. That gets some boos. The Boo Birds out. Another penalty for the Grizzlies will give Roseburg first down. Yet again, this drive, 2 penalties that have really helped out Roseburg's offense.
It did not get the first down, though.
I thought it was going to be an automatic first
I
down.
I thought so, too, but they were below 15-yard.
Yeah, not a 15-yard penalty, apparently. So it'll be second down here, and it's short, only about 2 yards to go. The ball at the 27-yard line. Running to the right. Warmoth running the option, gets swallowed up in the backfield. They had that one protected, and that'll drop the Indians for a loss on second down.
So what I really would like to see right now is I would like to see, because McMinnville is playing with no safety back. There's nothing back there. And there's a big one-on-one matchup right here with Hershkovitz and his defender right there. If Hershkovitz could get past his defender just a hair, that's open all day long.
Got to get the ball inside the 24, or inside the 24 for the first down. The ball's at the 30. Makes it 3rd down and 6 for the Indians. They check the wristband. 2 receivers to the left side. 2 backs in the backfield for Warmoth. And 1 man spread out to the right side. And a flag will come out before the play.
Penalty flags on the play.
And it is going to be against the offense. So a drive that was moving for Roseburg, stalling out here in McMinnville territory. They trail 10-7 with 1:36 to go in the third quarter.
3rd and 11 for Roseburg.
Backing them up even more. So the penalty will put Roseburg. It'll make it 3rd and 11. The ball back to the 35-yard line. Warmoth looking to the sideline to get the play call from the coach. They bring out the jumbo package with Mandera in the backfield along with Gillespie. Adams and Bear spread out to the right side. Hershkovitz, the lone man, to the left. Looking to pass. Pressure coming. No one picked him up. Throwing downfield over the middle, and it's picked off by McMinnville on the return, coming the other direction. And Gillespie will take him out, and the official looked to initially throw his flag. He does not. He holds on to it. It's Gillespie that brings the return man down. Ian Wilson with the pick. And it'll be McMinnville football near midfield. 3rd interception of the night for Colin Warmoth.
Colin Warmoth, 2 of those interceptions, he's throwing into a better coverage area. This bottom, the closest to us, the near sideline here, there's a one-on-one matchup that he's not even looking at. And it's everybody knows, or McMinnville's starting to figure out, he's going to start throwing to that right side of him almost every single time. He's not coming to this left, so there's nothing to be concerned about. He needs to start dinking and dunking or even get a long pass off to this left side.
McMinnville takes over with 1:04 to go in the third quarter after the 3rd interception of the night for Colin Warmoth. There was no penalties there at the end of the play, and I appreciate that. I didn't think that the initial contact was made out of bounds. He just carried him out. Ball handed off out of the backfield. It's Noah Kepler running right side, and Kepler picks up nice yardage on first down for about 5 on the carry. That's one of his longest runs of the night. And Roseburg will now face 2nd and 5 defensively. Coming up to make the stop, Ethan Stoner.
And this game's nowhere near over, so the defense needs to stay in this game, stay excited. Don't worry about what just happened and get out there and play football.
Put the ball just shy of the 50. Have it out to the 48-yard line. Handoff again to Kepler as they look to work up the clock. And coming up to make the tackle for Roseburg, that is Isaiah Moore on a first down run for Noah Kepler.
So right there is just a miscommunication, I think, on the defensive side. Stoner's going outside of the defense or the offensive tackle, and the defensive end supposed to go inside of that offensive tackle. Instead, they both ended up outside.
14-yard run there for Noah Kepler. And it looks like McMinnville ready to wear off the third quarter clock. We get ready to head to the fourth quarter. It's been a tight one. It's McMinnville and Roseburg. 10-7 the score. The Grizzlies in front of Roseburg, scoring all 10 points in the third quarter. We'll head to the fourth quarter with a lot on the line. Roseburg trying to get a stop defensively. When we come back after this 60-second break, you're listening to Roseburg football on 1490 The Score.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
It'll be McMinnville football as we start the fourth quarter. They lead at 10-7, and they are charging into Roseburg territory. They have the ball, 12 minutes on the clock. They've got first down and 10 in Roseburg territory. A little trickeration as they go with the reverse. Around the edge, it's Colton Smith to the sideline. Makes one man miss, and he will get taken down before he can find the end zone. But he had one man to beat. A huge run on a reverse to start the fourth quarter.
And right there, that's something Roseburg hasn't seen, and Roseburg doesn't need to hold their heads down. They are playing that pretty well overall. Just something they haven't seen overall at all this year. So,
well, the run for Colton Smith takes him down inside the 5. Colin Warmoth making the touchdown-saving tackle, and now the officials are meeting. The ball's placed like at the inch-yard line. I didn't think he was that close. It looked like he was a little bit further out. But the officials obviously have a much better view from where we sit, and they're gonna mark it at about the 1-yard line.
See, and what Mandaro's over there arguing is the ball fumbled out. The ball came out and rolled forward.
Well, the Indians are not going to get any favor from the referees on that call, so they'll have first and goal from the 1, trying to take a 2-score lead on top 10-7 here early fourth quarter action. Had a player that had to leave due to a equipment issue. He was sent to the sideline to get it fixed and was able to come back. And
no, Warm is still out.
That was actually, they do send in a new guy out there for Roseburg. That's going to be Garrett Zymet. Handoff on the play to try and score into the end zone. Signal is touchdown. And it's Noah Kepler that keeps it for the 1-yard run. And the Grizzlies will take a 16-7 lead over 16-7 lead over Roseburg here in the fourth quarter.
And it looked like for Warmouth on that coming out of the play, it wasn't an equipment issue. It looked like he probably had a scrape on his arm, had some blood showing. So he had to go to the trainer and get a Band-Aid put on it, and he didn't have enough time to get off and come back on.
Fourth quarter touchdown. First offensive touchdown of the night for McMinnville. Had a special teams touchdown to start the second half. Spence out there for the PAT. He puts it a rainbow kick through the uprights. And it is now 17-7.
Your Grizzlies, 17.
And, boy, it is a turn of events here in this second half as McMinnville taking the 10-point lead. Let's check back in the studio. Maybe you can whisper in my ear here, Chance. Let me know whether or not you're able to get things booted back up there in the studio. Otherwise, we'll keep it here. Well, I maybe not. Maybe you can't whisper him. Well, we will keep it here then. It is the fourth quarter. Keep it here as Roseburg trails 17-7. Still working on things on the radio side there, but at least we're still on the air. Just can't take commercial breaks. 11:41 to go. Still a lot of time in this game. It's a two-score game, but 2 touchdowns for Roseburg, and they would be able to pull back in front. They'll get the ball back here as McMinnville will kick it away. First offensive touchdown of the night for the Grizzlies. Roseburg scoring their touchdown with 1:19 to go in the first half. They've shown a lot more offensive prowess here tonight, but have not been able to capitalize on those good drives. Spence will kick it away, and it's a low line drive kick. They've done this the last couple of times, taken at the 10 by Bear. At the hash mark, he'll stutter step, try to make a few men miss, and he gets taken down by his feet out to the 25-yard line. They'll put him down at the 24. Not a huge return, and Roseburg will start at their own 24-yard line once again.
And now, right now, Warmouth has to let those interceptions go. Don't worry about the interception. The coach has to trust that he can make the throws. We've seen Warmouth make these throws time in and time out. He's a good quarterback. He's an accurate quarterback. He just makes some mistakes from time to time.
Well, he tried to force one in earlier, had one tipped up, and then the last one was a beneficial pick. Just kind of got bobbled around and into the hands of the defender. 17-7 the score, 11:33 to play. They'll go with a run, try to go with the misdirection. It is sniffed out by McMinnville. Warmouth taken down in the backfield. All the motion going to the right side. Warmouth goes back to the left, and he's taken down for a loss. Back inside at the 20. Well, I guess they gave him a little bit further out than I thought they were going to. They put him down at the 26-yard line to start, and so he's back to the 24, so it's a loss of 2. Warmouth in shotgun. Has Gillespie to his right. He's been a workhorse tonight. Lake and Bryant to the right side of the formation. Pressure coming, and Warmouth, no time to throw. He has to duck underneath the sack, and he takes the loss, and McMinnville just getting more and more momentum here late in this game.
Yeah, McMinnville is showing that they have all the momentum, and Roseburg just seems to be shutting down offensively right now.
Back to the 19-yard line. That's a loss of 5. Sack for McMinnville. And it'll be 3rd down and long. 17 to go for Roseburg. Clock ticking down to 10 minutes to play. Dropping back to pass. Warmouth looking downfield. Stepping up in the pocket. He's got a lot of time. He tucks it. Now looking to throw downfield. Coming back to it is Bear, and he didn't catch it on the first attempt. Tried to do it again, and then as he did that, he got drilled. Was probably going to be short of the first down marker by about 5 yards unless he could have cat and run, but the bobble on the first attempt, and he didn't have a second chance at it.
And see, right there, again, those are right in the hands of the receivers. Warmouth's doing a great job of getting the ball to his receivers. Now the receivers just have to catch the ball.
To return.
So the Roseburg punt unit comes out. Warmouth kicks it away. Wobbly, loose spiral. Takes a Roseburg bounce. Back to the 40. And Colton Smith will let it roll all the way down to the 35-yard line. At least they flipped the field a little bit, but the defense going to have to come up with a stop here for Roseburg as we're under 10 minutes to play, 9:49 to go here in the fourth quarter as McMinnville gets the ball back. I don't know if you can put the they're not going to blame the weather delay, but that I could imagine that has had a big effect here in this second half. It has been all McMinnville. Like I said earlier, they had the chance to turn the page, wipe the slate clean after a first half that left them wanting. Roseburg, meanwhile, had all this momentum, all this excitement going into halftime, and then had to sit for quite some time. And it looks like that might come back to haunt this Roseburg team. They come back out, defense out there on the field, four-man front for the Indians. Tight formation here, bunched up at the line for McMinnville as they look to try and wear off the clock. Fumble! Ball's loose! Back on top of it is Dupuis. He gets it back for McMinnville, losing a yard.
And right now, right there, if Roseburg was playing the way they were playing even 15 minutes ago, they would have been right there on that ball. That you could see the slowing down of the defense right now.
2-yard loss on the fumble there for Dupuis, excuse me. He's going to have negative numbers tonight, but he has led his team to a comeback lead at the moment on top 17-7. Move a man in motion from left to right. Under center, Dupuis pitches it to the left side. Kepler trying to run. He finds some space. This Roseburg run defense had been so good in the first half, and Kepler now starting to find a little bit of room to work with. Getting closer and closer to 50 yards on the night as he picks up a nice run on second down and will make it 3rd and short for the Grizzlies.
And so what McMinnville's trying to do right now is they're going to try to run the ball as much as they can and take as much of the time off so Roseburg doesn't have a chance to come back in this ballgame.
8-yard pickup for Kepler. He sets up in the backfield. Shotgun snap coming for Dupuis. He is looking to throw. Pump fakes once. Now pulls it down. Pressure coming. He gets hit from behind. It's Mandera with a sack, taking down Dupuis. Just wish that one of these times he could poke that ball out.
And Mandera is just all over him today. The battle between Mandera and the quarterback has been huge all day long.
Well, they're back to where they started on this drive, dropping him back, a 6-yard loss for Dupuis. And now Dupuis will come out to punt, and that was the stop Roseburg needed. Under 8 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. A late man on for McMinnville. Dupuis kicks it away. Almost had a guy in the backfield to get to it. Cat looking to make the first man miss. Can't get away from the pressure, but holds on to the football. The return man for Roseburg, Colbert, will give Roseburg their best opportunity on that play, taking it down inside the 35, and Roseburg with the football back in their hand, needing to score fairly quick.
Yes, right now, if Roseburg wants a chance at coming back in this ball game, they need to score in this drive, and they need to do it fairly quick, like you said.
Indians will send the offense out. Colin Warmoth looking to try and lead a comeback victory with 7:40 to go in the ball game. Roseburg starting with the football at their own 33. Warmoth in shotgun as he is most of the game. Gillespie to his left. Got to expect Roseburg will try to use the pass some. The snap comes before he expects it. It's picked up by McMinnville. Off to the races. The Grizzlies are going to score.
And now Roseburg is just falling apart. Mistake after mistake after mistake. You can see it. Their heads are starting to hang right now. This is not a good sign for this Roseburg Indian team.
McMinnville's Garrett Alvarez picks up the fumble on the snap and just races away. And that is a heartbreaker. Alvarez, the snap came early, hit Warmoth in the hands and dropped right in front of him, and the pressure was in the backfield before he knew it, and Alvarez just picks it up right in front of him, and then no one had a chance to catch him. 23-7 now your score, the PAT coming. And they go with I think the snap was not handled well. They try to make something out of it and do not get it. And some pushing and shoving going on afterwards. Flags will come out. It's 23-7. The PAT no good. So it'll be McMinnville leading Roseburg now. They've got a lot of work to do with 7:31 to go.
And it looks like it was Mandera and Parker Spence getting into it.
See what the penalty flag, who it goes against here. So Garrett Alvarez will get a 33-yard fumble recovery TD. And the kick no good, so 23-7. Roseburg trailing by 16. I guess 2 touchdowns with a 2-point conversion. They tie this ball game up.
They very well could, and Roseburg's defense just has to stay motivated right now. They can't let any of this get to them. The second that they let this get to them, they're not going to have a chance.
So that'll be a fumble loss, unfortunately, against Colin Warmouth. Offsetting penalties. Unsportsmanlike on the Grizzlies. Okay, so they actually, it's not the offsetting. It was a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike penalty against McMinnville, And that'll back them up on the ensuing kickoff here after that touchdown.
Did they throw him out of the ball game?
Well, it was Spence, right? You said that Spence?
Because that little sign at the end where he went like that.
I thought maybe he was just signaling that it was against McMinnville. We'll see.
Normally
Spence is the place kicker.
And they don't do that.
No, Spence is out there, and he's a little frustrated. He looks like his teammates are trying to settle him down just a bit. He's out there. He's the place kicker, so he'll be kicking it off here. We'll wait and see how things go on the kickoff here. Hopefully tempers stay under wraps.
On the kickoff.
Well, Mendera plays with such passion, and he's going to hit you. It doesn't matter if they're down 70. He showed that last week. He's going to go, and he's going to hit you as hard as possible, and he's going to get in your head, and a lot of guys don't know how to handle that.
23-7 our score, 7:31 to go. Roseburg hoping to try and get a quick score here. Kickoff is going to be from the 25, so this could be really good field position for Roseburg. Spence will get as much behind it as he can, angles it towards the near sideline, picked up by Lake at the 26. Makes one cut, gets on the near sideline, up the hash marks.
Lake over the right side.
And he will take it out near the 45-yard line, just shy. They put him at the 43, and Roseburg will have good field position, a lot of room to make up here.
Now, ever since that storm sister came through today, it's actually got a little bit chilly today. I ended up having to put my jacket on.
I'll take a look at the temperatures here.
It says 60 is what I've got right now, but it feels a little bit cooler than that.
Yeah, I have it at 60 as well. Out comes the offense for Roseburg. Adams will move to the far side to make it trips left for Warmouth in shotgun. Seemed like last time out it was a little bit of miscommunication on what they were doing offensively that led to that fumble. Pressure in the backfield. Warmouth trying to escape. He tucks it and runs up the middle. He got that might have been a horse collar. Got him around the neck there. Didn't bring him down, so they don't call it. And Warmouth on a scramble will pick up a yard, makes something out of nothing.
Yeah, the horse collar has to be when you're tackling him and bringing him down. You can still grab the jersey back there. It's if you get your hands in the pads and pull him down, that's when you're going to get called for the horse collar.
1 yard pickup for Warmouth, puts him at 30 yards tonight, but he was trying to pass. The clock continues to run, under 7 minutes to play. Roseburg trailing by 16. Adams in the slot to the right. Lake on the left side of the formation, ball on the right hash mark. Warmouth directing the offense, tell him where to go. Quick pass right side. It's caught on the slant by Lake, and he stays on his feet, still up as he gets the first down, pushed backwards, but they give him the forward momentum out to the 45, other side of the field, and it'll move the chains for Roseburg, stops the clock momentarily.
And I'm really impressed with how Stephen Lake runs his routes. He's very quick to his breaks. He's making his breaks really sharp and really clean.
That'll be a pickup of 10 yards through the air for Lake on the reception. He'll set up to the right side of the formation in the Mo position once again. Warmouth eclipsing his passing totals from last week. Pressure coming quick. He goes with the screen. It's caught by Lake once again, but, oh no, they'll say incomplete. That'll stop the clock. That's a good thing for Roseburg at 5:58 to play in the game.
Yeah, right there. I don't think it would have mattered other than it stops the clock because it was right at the line of scrimmage to begin with.
Pressure was in the backfield quickly as they set up that screen, letting guys through. The pass was just too low for Merhowy Lake. In shotgun for Warmouth, 2nd down and 10. Quick pass out to the near side. Adams catches, slips through one tackle. He continues, ball comes loose, still out on the field. McMinnville fighting for it. 3 guys on top of the football, and McMinnville will have it back again after the fumble by D'Angelo Adams.
And right now, you're with these turnovers that Roseburg is doing, I'm beginning to wonder if those passes that are getting bobbled around and stuff like that, if that little bit of rain has caused that field to be a little bit wetter than normal. Adams is wearing gloves, and those gloves, when they get wet, they become really slippery on the ball. Those gloves do not help you out when the ball's wet.
Adams picks up 11 yards on the catch, but then fumbles. And Roseburg will turn it over again. I think that is 4 turnovers in this game. 5 turnovers now for Roseburg as McMinnville will have it with 5:46 to play. They run it up the middle, just letting the clock tick now. And staying on his feet, just trying to fight for yardage. Derek Fox will run up the middle, the fullback, getting good yardage and keeping the clock moving.
And right there, man, Darrow's just going to get involved with every hit, every play that he can right there. He's being as physical as possible, saying, look, we're not giving up yet.
6-yard pickup for Fox on the ground. Ball out to the 32-yard line. McMinnville just trying to salt away this victory to move to 2-0 on the year. A run left side. New man out of the backfield carrying here. That is going to be Kirby Hartzell. He'll move the chains for the first down as he gets it out to the 37-yard line, picking up 5.
And right now, I bet you the McMinnville fans are pretty happy they've stuck around. There's quite a few of them out here today, but going into halftime and then that delay and everything else, you kind of wonder how many people are going to stick around. It's getting kind of late right now, almost 10 o'clock right now. About everybody, it looks like, has stuck around.
Clock continues to tick down to 4:39 here in the ball game. McMinnville with a fresh set of downs. They can continue to let the clock go. Depew under center. Hands it off. Hartzell running right side. Trapped at the line of scrimmage. Going nowhere. He gets taken down. Both teams with both teams with all their timeouts, but neither team using them. It'll be 2nd down and 10 after the stop there. If Roseburg can get a stop here and force a punt, they can start using timeouts, but they've got to get 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions to tie this game up, and time is starting to run out.
Roseburg would have to abandon the run game completely and go to the pass game and go as fast as they possibly could.
They'll set up with a tight formation. Dupuis under center, 3 men to his left. He turns and hands it. They run right side. New man in running the football here. Jesse Croker will run right side, and he'll make it a 3rd down and manageable now for the Grizzlies.
And no matter what the outcome is tonight, this defense tonight, so much different than last week. The way they're stopping the run, they're giving up 4 yards here for the biggest 5 yards. They are getting on top of that ball carrier and bringing him down. And last week, that did not happen.
Ball out to the 41-yard line. It was a pickup of 4 for Croker. 3rd down and 6. Clock down, almost 3 minutes left to go, and a false start on the far side will stop the clock and move McMinnville back. A little bit of help for Roseburg.
False start.
And it looked like the Grizzlies tried to do a hard count on that one, and it was just poor execution by the receiver on the far side of the field.
Coming up, we will have our Roseburg Disposal postgame show as we wrap things up for you in this one. Hopefully we're talking about an amazing Roseburg comeback. There's 3:07 to go in the ball game. 23-7 the score. McMinnville in front. They'll break the huddle and head to the line of scrimmage. Third down, and they put the ball back at the 46-yard line, so it's pretty much about 11 to go. Looking to pass, Dupuis. They'll set up a screen. Sniffed out. Mandera makes the tackle. And Roseburg might decide to take a timeout here. No, the clock continues to run. They got the stop now.
Yeah,
They'll stop it with the timeout. So the timeout called by Roseburg on the tackle for loss. And they're going to force the punt, and we'll get it back with 2:55 to play. Could give good field position. A nice return here, and maybe this game is feeling a little different. We'll see what happens out of the timeout, but that tackle for loss took them back to the 33-yard line.
Well, and the fact right now, the leadership that I was kind of looking for last week that I didn't really see on either the offense or defensive side, tonight Mandera showed that leadership. He showed his head stayed high. He's staying in this ball game no matter what to the last second. Doesn't care what the score is. He's playing for that down right there.
There's a 3-yard loss for the completion from Dupuis to Hartzell. Roseburg takes the timeout with 2:55 to go. Punt unit out. Dupuis will come out to kick it away. A lot of punts in this game. There's been a battle out there between defenses. And right now it has been McMinnville's that has won the second half. They scored all 23 of their points here in the second half. Roseburg hasn't scored since the second quarter. Dupuis back inside the 20 at the 19 to kick it away. Bear deep to return at the 35. He'll back up to the 30 and will not have much of a chance at a return here. Getting away from it, Roseburg will let McMinnville down the ball just outside the 30-yard line. And they'll let it sit for as long as possible to wear down the clock. 2:41 to go in the ball game. Roseburg has it in their own territory at the 31-yard line. That'll make it 69 yards to go for the Roseburg Indians. They need 2 scores. They got to cover ground quick.
If I was a coach right now, I would have 3 plays lined out. I'm going to do these 3 plays back to back to back. So if the clock's still running, they know exactly what they're doing. They're getting on the ball, and they're going.
Offense up to the line for Roseburg. Late man on the field for the defense. That's one of the linebackers out there, Derek Fox. Looking to throw, rolling to his right. Warmouth downfield, has man open on the seam. Caught by Lake on his feet, taken down short of the 50. They'll put him down to the 49-yard line. They'll stop the clocks with the movement of the chains. And Roseburg will need to set up quickly.
And Roseburg just needs to already know what the play is. Get out there. Don't be directing the play. Get this ball snapped right now.
18-yard pass play through the air from Warmouth to Lake. Up to the line of scrimmage here. 2:25 and counting. Warmouth with the shotgun snap. Pressure coming. He'll step around it. Up in the pocket. He'll take off running. He gets hit from behind. Taken down across the 45. They got to get up to the line quick here. It's not going to move the chains. Short by about half a yard.
And very, very smart play right there by Warmouth by stepping up, seeing the pressure, stepping up, and not taking a sack right there.
Moves into McMinnville territory down to the 42-yard line. Make it a pickup of 9 for Warmouth on the ground. Came up just short of the first down marker. Taking his time here, down under 2 minutes to go. Gets the snap, rolling to his left. On the run, he will tuck it. He picks up the first down. That'll stop the clock here. On 1:43 to go, the ball down to the 40-yard line. Picks up 2. Stops the clock as they set it now, and we'll wait for the clock to start. Roseburg's got to get moving.
Yeah, Roseburg has to get on it right now. Warmouth needs to get out there and be a little bit of urgency right there, and I'm not seeing it from him right this second.
No, they're moving slow here to get the play out into the onto the field. You've got trips to the left side, one man to the right. They're playing with a lot of defensive backs out there. Light pressure coming. They go on a short route underneath to Lake. He catches, spun down inbounds, short of the 35-yard line, out at the 37. There's a player down on the field. He'll get up, but I believe Roseburg might have called their second timeout here in the second half.
That was Bryant with the reception.
Oh, excuse me, Bryant on the catch. He gets spun down to the 36-yard line, they'll say, on the pass. Roseburg take the timeout. It is Roseburg's timeout.
Now, why I don't agree with that either. You have an injured player on the field. The clock stopped. You have enough time to get a play in, get a first down. Clock stops again. Maybe get halfway and then call that timeout. I wouldn't have called that timeout right there.
Third catch of the game for Peyton Bryant. Injured man on the field for McMinnville was Ross Felix, one of the defensive linemen. He walks to the sideline. Don't see anybody getting checked out, so he must have been in decent shape. He was grabbing his stomach. A couple of completions there for Warmouth. Let's see here. 89 yards now on the night unofficially for Roseburg. And for Colin Warmouth, that'll be a season high for him. Roseburg's running game has picked up over 100 yards on the ground, but it's not going to be a huge number tonight, but it's definitely an improvement from what we saw last week when Roseburg didn't even break 150 yards of total offense. Minute 16 to go, 23-7 our score out of the timeout by Roseburg. They trail by 16, trying to cut it down here and see if they could have a miracle happen. Warmouth in shotgun, two backs with him. They bring protection. He's rolling out of the pressure. There is a flag out in the backfield. Warmouth still running. He'll throw it away downfield, trying to get it to Herskovitz. But there are two penalty flags out on the field, and I got a feeling these are coming back against Roseburg.
There may be a holding.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's in the area of
holding.
On the
first one.
They're both about in the same spot here, and they'll stack them on top of each other. Holding is indicated against Roseburg. If it's declined, it's third and about 6. But they will mark it off from the spot of the foul, which was about the line of scrimmage. And it'll be a... boy, how far are they taking this football back here? That seems like that is a big penalty here.
It's 10 yards.
It was a 36. The ball was at the 36. They put it all the way back at the 49. So that's a 13-yard... that's a 13-yard penalty.
Somebody messed up on their math then. One of the referees did.
Well, maybe the ball, maybe it was back at the 39-yard line is where they said, but the penalty looked like it was at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure. They throw it out into the flats. Roseburg looking to try and work it down the sideline. Pass caught. And it'll be back into McMinnville territory. Bryant taken down in bounds, and the clock stopped right now.
Another flag.
There is a flag out there, and it's back at the line of scrimmage again at the 49.
Legal block below the waist. So right now, Roseburg's just killing themselves completely. They're taking any chance of a miracle out with these penalties.
So the pass play is negated, and it'll back Roseburg even further back into their own territory. They'll set the ball down at Roseburg's 35. They started this drive on their own 31.
35 for Roseburg.
So another big penalty.
35 for Roseburg.
So it's second down, 35 to go. The ball on their own 35. They've got to get it to the 30 on McMinnville's half of the field. And this one looks like it's going to escape the Indians on the road. Shotgun snap for Warmouth, rolling to his right, looking downfield. A lot of pressure downfield by the defense. Warmouth will tuck it and run, gets out of bounds at the 45-yard line. He'll pick up 10, but the Indians needing a lot more than that.
Yeah, and right there in that play, he didn't have any plan on throwing the ball. He's holding it, acting like he was going to, but he didn't even try to flinch as if he was going to throw that ball and just tucked it and ran.
McMinnville playing with a lot of backs deep. They've got more than a nickel package in. They've got everybody except for 4 down linemen and 1 linebacker pretty much deep to try and play some prevent coverage here. Warmouth looking to get the snap quickly. Goes on a slant route intended for Bryant. Contact right as the ball arrives. He's unable to get a hand on it. It'll go incomplete. Stops the clock with 37 seconds to go, but 4th and 25 to go for the Indians. You got nothing to lose by trying to go for it, and all it's going to take is one kneel down for McMinnville to wrap this game up. So might as well see if you can huck it towards the end zone.
Hug it deep and see what happens, and hope for the best.
See if you can make it look a little bit more respectable on the board. This has been a very tight game. Don't let it fool you. This game was tied all the way through, but just escapes Roseburg late on in this one. Warmouth going to throw it on the slant route down the seam to Bryant. It's caught. He is into McMinnville territory, but that's not going to be anywhere close to enough for the first down, as it will be a turnover on downs for Roseburg. And McMinnville will come out with 31 seconds left on the clock before they can get a victory.
And like you were saying, the score doesn't indicate what happened in this ball game. It was a very tight, very close ball game all the way up to halftime, and then all of a sudden McMinnville came out at halftime and ran one back. There was a mistake on special teams. Otherwise, this game's still close. Both teams are about as evenly matched, I think, as we're probably going to see this early on against any other team.
Well, it's just going to take one kneel down here for McMinnville as they'll get into the victory formation. Under center goes Dupuis, and he will take the knee to wrap this one up. They will spot the ball back at that 45-yard line, and that will wrap it up.
And they can't. Roseburg doesn't need to hang their heads right now. There were some mistakes. Defense played lights out until the fourth quarter, pretty much. I mean, all the way around. Very, very good job. Huge improvement from last week's game. So I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Hopefully the progression continues on, and we'll see if Roseburg can win their home openers. They will host Reynolds next week. Reynolds looks like it'll come in 2-0 as well after having a couple of big offensive days in the first 2 weeks of the season. But the Roseburg Indians, they're 0-2. McMinnville goes to 2-0, and this one a great game for Roseburg to advance in where they were from week 1 to week 2. Unfortunately, they let one slip out of their grasp after a nice start to the game. The Indians could not hang on to it in the second half. We'll come back with the Roseburg Disposal post-game show and wrap it up for you. Final score 23-7. McMinnville beating Roseburg tonight from McMinnville High School here on CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You are watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Back here at McMinnville High School, where we have gone final. The Roseburg Indians fall. Our final score 23-7 As we said moments ago, the score not necessarily indicative of how close this game was. Roseburg came out, scored in the second quarter to take a 7-0 lead into halftime, but in the second half it was all McMinnville as they come away with a victory. And they win 23-7. Roseburg will file to 0-2 on the year, and McMinnville will move to 2-0. I know the offense looked better tonight, Josh, but still another game where just one touchdown on the board for Roseburg. Their offense struggling to get drives that result in points. Today we saw drives that resulted in good yardage, but not resulting in the points, and that's going to continue to be something that this Roseburg offense looks to try and correct after. Last year they had an offense, it wasn't lights out, but it was an offense that was putting up points. This year it's been a struggle to get things going so far.
Well, and last year we had that Ibarra and we had Russell, and those two really led that offense for the receiving crew and scoring and everything else, where this year we're still waiting to see what receiver is going to step out and be that receiver and be that leader on that offensive side, and we're not seeing that yet. But we're not giving much of a chance to see that because Warmoth's not throwing as much as we were seeing last year as well. Now then, he did throw some today. We had 5 turnovers. I believe 4 of those turnovers are interceptions. That hurts him throwing, I think. He always lets that sit in the back of his head from every time I see, and so then it's always a run here, run there, run, and then a pass eventually. So hopefully he'll just let those go. It's a new day tomorrow. Let those interceptions go and start working on getting ready for this next game next week.
It was 5 turnovers total, but 3 interceptions and then 2 fumbles for Roseburg. Had the fumble by Warmoth on the snap that came before he was ready and was picked up, and it was a scoop and score for McMinnville. And then they had the fumble at the end of the pass play completed to D'Angelo Adams, and he couldn't hold on to it late in that one. Roseburg did get a couple of takeaways in this one as well. Colin Reitman with a couple of interceptions in the ball game. It was a very good start. The finish did not live up to the way this one started out here in this ball game as Roseburg falls 23-7. Looking at the scoring here tonight, it started in the first half, scoreless ball game through the first quarter. Roseburg takes a lead in the second quarter as it was a 8-yard touchdown run from Doran Gillespie, kick good from Merhowie Lake, and it made it 7-0 with 1:19 to go in the first half of the ball game, and that would be your score at halftime. At halftime, we came out expecting Roseburg, fired up after leading at the break, and then the lightning came out, and we had a lengthy delay at halftime, and that might have just cooled things down for the Roseburg Indians. And now they came out after the half, and it was a kickoff return, unofficially 83 yards on the kickoff return for McMinnville. On the return was Kevin Sullivan as he takes it the distance. The kick was good. That tied us up early on in the third quarter, 7-7 your score. And not long later, it was a punt for Roseburg. They kicked it away. There was a penalty that set up McMinnville. Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. It was McMinnville that later got a field goal in the third quarter with 5:47 to go. 28-yarder from Spencer. And that would make it a 10-7 score in favor of McMinnville on that 5:47 field goal from 28 yards out. 10-7 your score after 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, it was McMinnville able to put a couple more scores on the board. A 1-yard touchdown run on a drive that started in the third quarter, lasted to start out the fourth quarter, and a 1-yard TD run by Noah Kepler gets into the end zone. The PAT, they tried to, they did get it in. The PAT made it 17-7 with 11:41 to go in the ball game, and then the final score came on a scoop and score. They snap a little early, bounces off the hands for Warmoth, who wasn't expecting it. It landed right in front of him, and there to pick it up was Garrett Alvarez, and he scoops it and takes it right to the house. It was pretty impressive that he had the wherewithal to get to the football quickly and take it all the way 33-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, and that would make it a 23-7 game. The extra point mishandle on the snap. They tried to run something with it, didn't get converted. So 23-7 the score, 7:31 to go. Roseburg unable to capitalize on anything the rest of the way. So tough one tonight for the Roseburg Indians to swallow. Another long ride home for them. And now they get to think about it and start getting ready for the home opener next week against the Reynolds Raiders. Just putting it into words, wrapping it up here. That's a tough one tonight for the Roseburg Indians.
Yeah, very, very tough, but nothing to hang their head on. Get over it. Be upset about it, but get back to work tomorrow. Get into film, watch your mistakes, see what you did wrong, and try to make it better. From what we saw last week to this week, I mean, that's a big win in my opinion right now, because last week I was really like, uh-oh, this could be a long season. And then today I actually have some hope today. Yeah. And so I am very enthused to see what's going to happen the rest of this season. Today doesn't define the rest of this season for Roseburg, so they need to just get out there, get after it, and put in as much work as possible. And as long as they continue to improve the way they did, this could end up a very good season.
Yeah, definitely. There was a reason for hope after what we saw out there tonight for the Roseburg Indians. This was more the team that I was expecting to see. Obviously, still room for improvement, even if they had come out and won tonight. Head coach Dave Heiberger told me before the game, that there's always room for improvement. Last week, obviously room to improve out there on the field, but there's always, every week, something to work on for this team. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Mahalo Heating and Cooling and by our friends over at Fisher's Hearth and Home. We'll continue with more of the Roseburg Disposal post-game show. Let them make the run to the dump for you. Call Roseburg Disposal at 673-7122. When we come back, we will look at some of your individual stats from tonight's game, brought to you by Umpqua Dairy, and we name our Abby's Pizza Legendary Player of the Game. Stick with us. More of the post-game show coming up after this here on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You're watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercut, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Welcome you back here to McMinnville High School. It's getting close to time to wrap this one up. Not going to be many people left here if we keep dragging this one out. But 23-7, your final score here in the Roseburg Disposal postgame show. McMinnville outlasting Roseburg in this one here tonight. Joey Kieran, Josh Nelson with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the individual statistics from this one here tonight. It's brought to you by Umpqua Dairy, your local dairy since 1931. For Colin Warmoth, unofficially, 19 attempts through the air tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for 19 through the air for Colin Warmoth. He did have the 3 interceptions, no touchdowns tonight. On the ground, Doran Gillespie put him at, 76 yards on the ground. That will be just shy of what he hit last week at 89 yards, but he's continuing to rack things up. He did have the 8-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Now 2 touchdowns on the season for Gillespie. Colin Warmoth ends up with 13 carries tonight, 51 yards for him, so that's good. That'll put him in the positive numbers after 6 carries last week for negative 13 yards, taking a few sacks last week. Gage Hill had 1 carry, 7 yards, and Merhowie Lake 1 carry for 4 yards. Through the air, Eddie Herskovitz, he had 1 catch for 4 yards. Cole Bear had 1 catch for 5 yards. 2 catches for 28 yards tonight for Merhowie Lake. D'Angelo Adams, 3 catches tonight, 16 yards. And Peyton Bryant finishes with 4 catches for 44 yards this evening. Those are your unofficial stats for the Roseburg Indians. On the other side, for the McMinnville Grizzlies, Sam Dupuy, he ends up throwing 18 times here tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for 18 through the air. 50% for him there. Had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. On the ground, Noah Kepler, 13 carries for 45 yards. He had the 1-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. Let's see here. Croker, a 4-yard carry tonight. Hartzell finished with no yards on 3 carries. Dupuy ended up with negative 30. He took a lot of tackles for loss, only had 1 run of positive yardage, finishes negative 30 on 7 carries tonight. Derek Fox, 1 carry for 6 yards. Colton Smith had a 37-yard carry, put him at 36 yards for the night on 2 carries. And through the air, Spence had 5 catches for 93 yards. Smith, 3 catches for 34 yards. Hartzell had 1 catch for negative 3. So that is a look at your unofficial numbers tonight for McMinnville, and that is your Umpqua-Dairy stat update. Here in the postgame, we like to name our Abby's Legendary Pizza Player of the Game. Josh, we've been debating this one. We were both really impressed with the defense here tonight, and the guy that stood out early on with the takeaways, Colin Reitman, our Abby's Legendary Player, Abby's Legendary Pizza Legendary Player of the Game.
Yeah, Reitman really showed up today. He made a big contribution to the defensive side of the ball, along with Ethan Stoner and Mandera.
Bryson Diaz had a huge game, too, with a lot of tackles.
As all the way around, I mean, the defense, 100% improvement, 1,000% improvement. I mean, very, very impressive defensive play tonight. I mean, you look at the score, it does not show how well those boys played today. They played very, very, very well today. But Colin Reitman, he did get the 2 interceptions, made the big difference there on defense by taking away the ball from McMinnville. So congratulations, Colin.
And really, I mean, the defense did do great. Only 1 offensive touchdown given up tonight. They had the special teams and the defensive touchdown for McMinnville, and the 1 offensive touchdown, the only one given up this evening. So, yeah, defense all around had a great game tonight. And with the 2 takeaways tonight, we're going to give the honors to Colin Reitman as our Abby's Legendary Pizza Player of the Game. We got one more break to get in, and we'll come back and we'll get some final thoughts down and move on, get a couple of looks at a few scores and to pass along, and then we will head on out of here from McMinnville, get ready for the home opener coming up next week. Back after this 2-minute break, wrapping things up here on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score.
This is Roseburg Football Online at 541radio.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's game. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Roseburg Indians. Find the live sports broadcast schedule updated each week at 541radio.com.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
You're watching live broadcast coverage of Roseburg football on 541radio.com. This game is proudly sponsored by
Roseburg Disposal, Tim's Appliance, Cooper's Pest Control, Umpqua Dairy, Fisher's Hearth and Home, Cascade Community Credit Union, Douglas County Farmers Co-op, Supercuts, Good Vibrations, and also Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair.
At Brook Communications, our job is to get results for your business, period. We can take your story and tell it to the people you want to reach in a way that compels first-time clients to become repeat customers. We get them through your door so you can do what you were meant to do. Proclaim your sales message to the largest audience of any media company in Douglas County. Brook Communications dominates through the power of 5 radio stations and 541radio.com. Results amplified. Locally owned. Brook Communications.
Wrapping things up here from McMinnville High School. Joey Kieran and Josh Nelson here with you, bringing you Roseburg football from the road, online at 541radio.com and on CBS Sports Radio 1490 The Score. Wrapping up our Roseburg Disposal post-game show here, Josh, as we finish things out. We want to try and take a look at some of the other scores going on. Now, we'll let you know that some of our friends from over at the News Review, actually they're all our friends, but our friends at the News Review, you can check out a lot of scores. They get to do a great job on Friday nights collecting scores and updates from all the games. So if you're looking for more information, make sure you check out nrtoday.com for plenty more on our local high school sports scene here on this Friday night. And we'll get scores up online at 541radio.com later on as well. That might not come till tomorrow, as we're going to get back tomorrow as well, back into the Umpqua Basin. But a quick look at some of the scores that we've got from around the Umpqua Basin here tonight there, Josh.
All right, so it looks like, again, Elkton did win today over Myrtle Point, 74-8. Sutherland did lose to Taft by 1 point in a heartbreaker, 13-14. Glide ended up losing to Coquille tonight, 22-30. North Douglas beat Bonanza 58-32. South Umpqua is over Dayton, 19-10. Days Creek, 46-0 against Prospect. Look at our scores. Those are all the ones I got for the Umpqua Basin. Scores: Southwest Conference, North Medford won 62-16. South Medford won 38-12. And looking at next week's opponent, Reynolds walked away with the victory tonight, 41-7 over Franklin.
All right, taking a look at it, as you mentioned, next week it is the Reynolds Raiders. They're making their way to Finlay Field. That'll be the home opener for Roseburg, brand new turf field. We'll get our first look out of it coming up next week on Friday night. It'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff. Pregame coverage starting at 6:45 here on 1490 The Score and online at 541radio.com. So tune in for that coming up tomorrow, or excuse me, not tomorrow, but next week. For McMinnville, their season continues. They will be on the road for the first time this season. They are at South Salem coming up next week. Speaking of tomorrow, folks, make sure you stay tuned for more for more football action. College football tomorrow here on 1490 The Score. Tune in to catch the Oregon State Beavers as they kick off at 5 o'clock. Pregame coverage at 3 o'clock as Oregon State hosts Southern Utah. A home opener there for the Beavers, looking to get their first win of the season. We'll have all the coverage all season long of Oregon State football here for you on 1490 The Score. Over on News Radio 1240 KQEN, tune in for Oregon Duck football. You can catch the Ducks bright and early. Pregame coverage starts at 9 a.m. Kickoff at 11 a.m. as Oregon hosts Portland State for their second game of the season, looking to move to 2-0 on the year. That'll do it for us here, folks, from McMinnville High School. We'll wrap up the Roseburg Disposal post-game show and send you on your way here on this Friday night as we make our trip back down to Roseburg. Hopefully you guys can tune in next week when the Roseburg Indians take on the Reynolds Raiders. Alongside me here in the booth, I want to say thanks to Joshua Nelson. Thanks to Joe Glover for running things here on the production side of things. Tonight here from McMinnville High School. Thanks to Athletic Director for McMinnville, Ryan McIrvin, for helping out with all the production help tonight, getting us ready to go on the team and a spot to set up and broadcast from. As always, like to say thanks to Athletic Director Russ Bolin, head coach of the Roseburg Indian football team, Dave Heiberger, and the entire Roseburg football program for allowing us to bring you another season of Roseburg football here on 1490 The Score. And as always, I'd like to say to you, thanks to you, the fan, for tuning in for tonight's broadcast and sticking through that lengthy delay me throughout the broadcast here tonight because, of course, without you guys, I'm just a guy sitting here talking to myself. I'm Joey Kieran, folks. For Josh Nelson, we say good evening. We hope you tune in next week when the Roseburg Indians host the Reynolds Raiders right here on Douglas County's home for sports, CBS Sports Radio, 1490 The Score. All right, Chance. So, yeah, once that